everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. You know what it is. Back off fight weekend. It's Monday. We're in a whole different month, y'all. The time went back. Everybody should be refreshed because I know some of y'all was partying, enjoying the festivities on fight week. It was so much going on in boxing. You had fight cards going on everywhere. So I know people was getting their head right. That's usually the thing to do, right? You know what I'm saying? You saying, shoot, let me take advantage of this extra hour I got. Let me kick it. Let me pull some back. Get right and enjoy, the weekend while it lasts. You know what I'm saying? Daylight's coming earlier. You know what I'm saying? It's brushing shoulders with the nighttime saying this, hey, enjoy while you can, because that means you're going to recognize it's a new day on deck. Time to go to work. The big talk of the town. The boxer that everyone has. It's a couple of boxers, that's out there. But hopefully, a couple of individuals that want to jump on here, get on here and talk about some things that they disagree with or agree with. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Gervonta Davis and the numbers that potentially he was able to rate on PPV. King Mitch in the building. What up? Good morning to you, brother. It's a big deal with this PPV because we just seen, 4 million viewership with Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko, but that was free TV, right? But PPV is where the money is made. With a partial live gate, it was a big deal to get this back on track. It was a huge deal, y'all, especially during the pandemic. And we really don't know how long this is going to be off. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how long. Well, I mean, how long this is going to be off. I'm basically saying we see boxing trying to make moves. Top Rank was out the gate, but Top Rank has not really pulled the switch to say, you know what, let's have a partial live gate. Let's do this. Let's get on board and what Showtime. No, they kind of pretty much taking the cautionary steps to make sure everything is good to go. Just like when the UFC came out and they started putting on fights, Top Rank was pretty much apprehensive about following suit. But they did want to put on fights during the bubble with no crowd. What Showtime was able to do is basically put on the Charlo Brothers PPV. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, Gervonta's PPV, but this was a partial live gate. And being inside the arena, I liked it. I liked the vibe, but visually, it was a little bit depleted because you had to soak in all the gaps that was in the seats and how they were social distancing, how the tickets was being sold. You buying in groups, 2s, 3s, 4s, according to where you were sitting at. So you had to get used to it. But what you cannot mistake is the reaction. The volume to the reaction is what you look for when you in a fight. It's nothing like crowd reaction because they're going to give you what you want. And being in Leo Santa Cruz backyard, they're going to give you what you want, man. It's nothing like that natural crowd reaction to a damn good fight. TJ in the building. Salute, man. What's good? It's nothing like that immediate reaction that you get from different eyes that are there to watch the fight. It's nothing like it. So as you see in the description, Tank Davis PPV numbers. Has the torch been passed? You know what I'm saying? If you're in the building, hit that like button for me. It's no effort. You know what I'm saying? It's just the action, just a minimal action. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new over here. So the PPV numbers is what people are going to be talking about once they hit the register out here on media. They're going to see if Gervonta Davis is that PPV guy. Off his performance, you all, I want to ask you, do you believe that he's a PPV star? Off what you witnessed on PPV, do you believe that Gervonta Davis is the next? I don't want to compare him to Floyd Mayweather because that was really his big PPV, and I'm not here to compare him to his mentor in Floyd Mayweather. But based off his performance with a 4 division world champion and Leo Santa Cruz, who was absolutely respected, okay, you all cannot act like Leo Santa Cruz wasn't a respectable opponent. He was, and Gervonta cleaned him with one punch. Of course, he worked up to it, but one punch knockout. 3 division, 4 division. Gervonta dropping down to a division where he has reigned as world champion before, and he needs his respect. As they say, give him his flowers, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You got to give this man his flowers. Man, you have to look, let's be honest. Be honest with yourself. You have to compare these 2 lightweight fights. I know we have a third one on the horizon with Haney and Gamboa. You have to compare the first 2 lightweight fights that we just witnessed. Lopez and Lomachenko was epic. But, in the first half of the fight, it was lopsided. It was one way. And then you had Gervonta. Leo Santa Cruz, in my opinion, took the first 2 rounds, but it wasn't like Gervonta was just giving it to him like Lomachenko. It was a strategy behind that shit. A very thorough, thought out, meticulous strategy. Very methodical, smart. And if you're not giving him his ring IQ credibility, then something's wrong. Leo Santa Cruz obviously was having success early, and that was his strongest point. Leo Santa Cruz is a high volume boxer, and that's what we was looking for, to see if Tank Davis can handle someone that was going to come straight forward. Someone was going to give him the response and the countering that he was looking for. Someone that was going to press down on Tank. Someone was that going to be in Tank's space that can actually box. Leo Santa Cruz going to this fight, everybody was praising him for being that guy. Everybody was saying it, just like they was giving Lomachenko. Can Teofimo Lopez handle, the pressure that Lomachenko is going to put on him? Could he handle the footwork, the movement? Could he handle the angles that Lomachenko is going to give him? So if you asking those question marks, right, and you have an open-ended doubt, and you unsure, then when they are answered, why not come back with a response that is in relation to what you was asking initially? If you was asking a question and you was able to get the answer, come back and clean it up and give your post-fight recap in the best way possible to say, you know what? I had a little doubt. I didn't think he'd be able to handle the situation the way he did, but he did. And I got mad respect for the way he did it. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't anything going on, popping off on Halloween. Those particular fighters handle the shit the way they're supposed to. Teofimo Lopez did what he's supposed to do with Lomachenko, and goddamn it, Gervonta Davis changed the tide, start taking, and disrupting, Leo Santa Cruz's rhythm in the third. The corner was like telling him, damn, early on, hey, you're taking a little bit too much. And then Tank was like, I got it, man. I know what I'm doing. I got it. Ultimately, the boxer is the one that's in there making decisions. He's the one in there making decisions when it comes down to it. He's receiving instructions, but ultimately, it's no +1 in there with him. It's no +1 that's on his side to basically pinch, box for him. He has to go in there every round and make it happen. It's not an offensive defensive team that's going to go in there and fight for a boxer. A boxer has to go every round themselves against their opposition. And Tank did a damn good job with making adjustments on Leo Santa Cruz the way he did. I have to salute him for that. So, Pinkerton, salute to you, man. He said, what number makes you the next star? Damn good question. So, of course, in this era with a PPV, we have to compare how many PPVs Gervonta Davis has had, which that was his first, right? And then also we have to look at, in comparison, to who else at this point in time are on PPV. And it's easy when it comes to that division because there's not too many people that's in that division. Okay, I'm talking about layers here. So you take the division PPV, that's easy because it's not hardly any in that division at all that's PPV stars in lightweight division. And of course, the grand scale of things, we have to compare the PPVs to recent fights that's happened within this calendar year. And at the top notch, we have to compare to the numbers that are reigning supreme at the top of the tier as overall top PPV boxing matches. So you have to take it's the initial first time that Gervonta Davis has been on the PPV stage. And then you have to compare it to what is generated and whether the final numbers are comparable to the ones that's at the top of the scale, comparable to the ones that's been in this calendar year, comparable to the ones, if any, that was in the lightweight division or neighboring divisions or any other names that's been out there that's in the same association as Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be a comparison in boxing because that's where we at right now. We're still in a pandemic, of course, so the numbers are going to be a bit fragmented. It's going to be some inconsistency there because you don't have a full live gate. But PPV allows, look, PPV allows for people to tune in and purchase the fight. It allows that to happen. But we also have people out of work. If Tank Davis comes in here and he exceeds, which he will exceed PPVs of the Charlos because I'm comparing them to the Charlos because they just had their PPV. But Tank did not have a co-partner to dance with like the Charlo brothers did. People were kind of tuning in to see both Charlo brothers. You know, you had a reputable, credible, tough, tenacious, durable opponent in Sergey Deryanchenko fight Mauro Charlo. And then you had, of course, the unification with Jason Rosario. But was Jason Rosario's name as bright as a Leo Santa Cruz? Was Charlo's name comparable to that of a Gervonta Davis in light to make people tune in? It's a difference. I know you can say, well, you know, that's the Charlo brothers. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I agree. But Gervonta Davis is linked up to Floyd Mayweather. Gervonta Davis is one of those guys where people look at like, I'm waiting for him to see what he do crazy next. But what you can't deny is the dude can box. He has power. He is a legitimate contender to be ranked in the top 2 in the lightweight division. I was just waiting for him to have his big fight. That's all I was waiting on. Because even though I was at the Gamboa fight and I saw him, I said the same thing. I said, listen, Gervonta Davis can box. His ring IQ is underrated. But yet, his performance was taken away because Gamboa was hurt in the second round, supposedly. But what some of you may not have seen is that Gamboa was still moving around. Like if something happens with your shoe in the fight, it's not like the gloves. You can't change out your shoes. You know what I'm saying? So if something was going on with his shoe, it's nothing that the fighter can do. You know, he cannot go forward if his shoe is all fucked up or whatever the case. You're not going to change out your shoes in the middle of the fight. But with the glove situation, if your glove get fucked up in the fight or something like that, you have a second pair. That's the only time you can use it. You can use that second pair of gloves. because you pick your priority A set of gloves, and you have the B set of gloves, and the A set is what you wear to the ring if something happened, and then you can also always switch out to that B set of gloves. I'm just curious to what the numbers are in this pandemic, because I'm not a betting guy like that at the betting odds and everything. But what I can tell you is they're going to do more than the Charlo brothers. And this is my take on why. Because you had Leo Santa Cruz on deck in his backyard in Texas. That's why the numbers are going to be the way they are. You might say, well, shit, Jason Rosario, he was from over, he was DR, right? But he didn't have a fan base. He didn't have the fan base of a Leo Santa Cruz now. Gervonta Davis, look, I'm confident in saying that his PPV numbers will exceed that of Charlo's. Whether they like it or not, it's going to come to fruition. These are not going to be low PPV numbers. What makes him a star is the fact that if indeed his numbers are registering close enough on his first PPV during the pandemic, and they're higher than what you would give them, you would average them out to be if it wasn't a pandemic, it's going to make him a PPV star, because the first one is not always the grandest for people. But I think this one, in fact, for Gervonta Davis, is going to be grand. This is going to be a grand PPV for Gervonta Davis. Seriously. His first PPV is going to be grand. The numbers are going to exceed that of Charlo. I said it. And it's set him up for another big PPV match in the future. I already have one or two names that would take it over the top with Gervonta Davis being a PPV star. Again, in the lightweight division, it's easy. The lightweight division is very, very stacked right now. And it's only a matter of time before in 2021, hopefully, we're talking about Floyd Mayweather now. I don't think he's going to send Gervonta Davis in there with a murderous row of killers just to prove that they want to get that PPV money. It's going to be well planned. It's going to be well planned, whether you like it or not. He fought Leo Santa Cruz, and then next, I'm not sure who he's going to fight. I know he's mentioned Ryan Garcia, whoever. But right now, Ryan Garcia looking at that fight, he's probably say, no más, no sé, señor. No sé. No más. Gervonta Davis. I don't think he won any of that work. He's seen. Look, Ryan Garcia witnessed Gervonta Davis, the amount of, the punches he was taking. Ryan Garcia looked at Leo Santa Cruz as potentially a boxer that he probably assumed he wasn't even on Leo Santa Cruz level. Even though he's fighting in a higher division, Ryan Garcia knows he would have had problems with Leo Santa Cruz. But what Tank Davis was able to do, stand in front, stand on center with Leo Santa Cruz, stand in the pocket because he parked there for a reason. He pulled from Santa Cruz what he wanted. He allowed him to throw his combinations. Some of them landed. With Gervonta, I guess he wanted to feel and see what type of power Leo Santa Cruz had. Did you see that outside trip? That he threw Leo Santa Cruz to the canvas easily. Easily, man. Gervonta threw him over easily. You think someone didn't teach him that shit? Hell no. Yeah, hey, come on now. You think somebody didn't teach him that? He threw Leo Santa Cruz to the canvas easily. Didn't think nothing of it. He just wanted to let him know, it's like, man, I'm stronger than you. I'm coming down from 35. I'm stronger than you. I'm going to prove it. And then, of course, people are going to say, oh, he was fighting dirty. Boxing is a dirty game sometimes. Just ask Riddick Bowe. Boxing has always been a dirty game. From inside to the outside of the gym, boxing is a dirty freaking game. So get used to it. Tank is well on his way to become a PPV star. Can't call him that yet. with one PPV fight under his belt. Amazing beginning, who Tank showed up and delivered, gave the fans a great show. I understand not calling him a PPV star off one. And that goes without saying. That's common sense. You know what I'm saying? But we can generate enough understanding if the numbers come back higher than what we expected them to be, especially with a partial live gate. I'm talking about meshing those two together now. Meshing those two together. People coming out here paying for the fight, and then the PPV numbers, while we're still in a pandemic and we don't know if it's going to stay this way heading over to 2021. But if the numbers come back, and I'm talking about if they gap the Charlos, I got to throw a comparison in this year, because this year's been, oh my God, this year's been terrible. We have to take in consideration of who we can compare Gervonta Davis with from past PPV, being it's his first PPV, and the calendar year that we've been in 2020, which has been horrible for pay-per-view because they've been absent. It took Showtime a little bit to get out the blocks, but when they did come out, they added some PPV fights to their card to close out the 2020 calendar, which is great. It's freaking great. WCS does Teo and Haney PPV fight do better than anyone Tank can get in the ring with? We don't know that. Solid Q, solid question, but we don't know that yet because Haney ain't a PPV star. Haney is not even a PPV fighter. When you fight on the undercard of some YouTubers, it takes a little bit for the real hardcore boxing fans, to kind of put that behind you. No matter how much prestige or promotion or presence that's out here and voicing, when you fight on the undercard and you're on a whole different type of promotion, it takes a little bit of time to clean that shit up. You know what I'm saying? People are going to make light of it, but still, he went in there and fought an opponent that was okay. But Tank can say that he headlined a PPV. Haney is one of the top names that would be in the hat if Floyd decides to give Haney that drop. Because look, at the end of the day, Floyd is going to have a lot to say if Haney and Gervonta fight, and I don't see them fighting anytime soon. So y'all can take that out the window. Now, when it comes to Haney and Teofimo Lopez, but the possibility is there, y'all. The possibility is there because they match up really nice outside of Gervonta Davis. Why? Because they're not on PPV. But what separates them as far as A side, B side, of course, is that Teofimo Lopez has the belts. Devin Haney has the WBC and Teofimo has all the rest of the belts. So for them to link up together on a PPV, it would do solid numbers because both of them have their brand. Both of them are top names in the lightweight division, and a lot of people know who they are. A lot of people know who those two individuals are, just like they know who Gervonta Davis is. But Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney ain't going to happen anytime soon. But I can tell you who might happen before is Gervonta and Teofimo Lopez. Gervonta Davis and Teofimo Lopez may happen before Haney and Gervonta. But to answer your question, it all depends, man. Those are two different types of individual there, Pinkerton. Because none of them has been on a PPV platform. And also, you're talking about two individuals, even though they have a brand to their name, they have they have some stock value right now. They're both champions in the lightweight division, right? They're not secondary title holders. Even though, Teofimo Lopez has the franchise belt, that WBC that Devin Haney has in respect is a legitimate title. All right. So when it comes down to them two linking up, they're gonna bring two sides of the boxing fan base together for their PPV. Now, the good thing about Devin Haney is that Teofimo Lopez fan base has improved tremendously since beating Vasily Lomachenko. So it's going to be somewhat like Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, because Santa Cruz, he was in his backyard, so he fought that. He brought his fan base that was there to come see him fight, and also he brought in the PPV fans that he has to tune in to see him fight. They always say black and Mexican fights do damn good, especially when you look at the Filipino nation. The Filipino nation, when you have someone going in there that's a notable name against a top Filipino fighter, the fan base support it. The Filipinos support their fighters. So to have that secondary wave to contribute to the numbers is amazing. But it all depends on where the fight is at, how far away can this fight happen? Because I'm going to tell you, if Gervonta Davis does another PPV in between, before Teofimo Lopez and Haney even come close to fighting, it's going to be a gap that cannot be closed with Teofimo and Devin Haney. That's just my opinion. You're not going to walk up here on your first PPV just because it's for all the marbles and undisputed and say it's going to do better numbers than Gervonta Davis. Now, if Gervonta doesn't fight another PPV before Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, if they indeed fight, will it do better numbers than Leo Santa Cruz? I believe it will equal or possibly supersede it. Because I'm keeping it as logical as possible, because we're talking about for the undisputed titles, man. Why would I sit up here and say, oh, just because Gervonta signed with Floyd Mayweather, this shit is not gonna, freaking exceed his numbers? We have to wait till the final numbers come out, and then we have to see if this fight even gonna happen. We have to see how Devin Haney is gonna look in there against Yuriorkis Gamboa. We're gonna see what the crowd reaction is like. That's the main part. We have to see what the crowd reaction is going to be like this weekend for Haney Gamboa. And then after that, we need to see what the buzz is out here. What do they think about Haney's performance? Because in reality, they should compare it to Gervonta Davis' performance at 35. Because they can't compare it to his Leo Santa Cruz performance. You are temporary if you're sitting up here comparing Haney's performance to Gamboa to freaking Leo Santa Cruz performance. You can't do that. Two different fighters. Two different freaking fighters. Tank showed that he could break his own man down and walk him down and got him out of there. Alexander in the building, salute to you, man. Absolutely. And as I was looking through the ropes, man, I'm just looking at Gervonta, how much confidence he had. I'm trying to hear his corner, what Calvin and then was telling him, what Floyd was telling him. People can boo Floyd all he want. Come on, man. Gervonta is listening to Floyd, dog. I know people saying it's disrespectful, Calvin. That's just the nature of the game. I know he has respect for Calvin. He has respect for Calvin. But what Floyd Mayweather has been able to accomplish in his career is solid results, even when it comes to PPVs. The relationship wise in boxing with contracts and all this shit has always been a messed up type of climate of turbulence. It's been some fighters who lost their career. They got put on the shelf. There's some fighters like we've seen in the media play out with Gervonta Davis and Floyd, with Floyd, taking the house and the Jeep back, Floyd, trying to say, we're going to put Gervonta out there with Vasily Lomachenko, just letting the public know that it is some animus between there. them. And Gervonta has made it clear, back then or whatever. But if we want to talk about the front side of it, we were able to see Gervonta fight in Baltimore in his hometown. Florida made that happen. He was on deck, Mayweather promotion, Showtime, PBC. And then we seen him come down to the A, fight Gamboa, sold out arena, right? And then this past weekend on Halloween, we see him return as the first partial live gate on PPV against the 4th division champion Leo Santa Cruz, and he knocks him out in the 6th round. Brutally, viciously, undeniably a highlight reel knockout of Leo Santa Cruz, who has never been stopped before. Now, of course, I'm going to get into all the backlash that's going on with Gervonta Davis, because that's what we got. I'm telling you, that's what we got in the sport of boxing. We got people that would never allow an individual to shine. And that's beyond haters. It's beyond that. People refuse to give individuals their flowers when they're supposed to give them, just because they want to make it seem like, well, I'm an expert at what I'm saying. It's levels to this game. I've been following boxing ever since I was a freaking toddler. Before I was born, they was reading me boxing novels. We're talking about individuals, like I said the other day. You have individuals that makes boxing a racing sport because they're always trying to compare ethnicities, black to white, black to Mexican, Mexican to black, European to black, whatever. They trying to compare who's who, and then they try to act like everybody's resume isn't shit. So when it comes to Leo Santa Cruz, right, he fought a damn good fight. I was happy to see Leo Santa Cruz get off the canvas. For a minute, I thought he had passed. For a minute, I thought it was going to be all bad. If he did wake, he wasn't going to never be the same. I didn't think Leo Santa Cruz would walk over to the ring, the ring ropes, and shake the hand of the commission after that knockout. I just didn't see how. I thought I thought they would take him out on a stretcher. Me and hundreds of other people that was gathered around the ring. I haven't even posted that video up yet. But you're right, Alexander. He showed he can walk his man down. And then, listen, when he was walking this man down, right? In the process, he was taking fire. I don't like comparing shit to military, but when we push it forward into a new area, especially in combat, we take casualties. It's people that I served with that passed away when we was pushing over. We take casualties. Whenever you're in the firefight and you're pushing forward directly, and your enemy or your adversary understands the target is right there and they're coming forward, it's up to them to impede that forward movement. That's what Leo Santa Cruz was doing. He was impeding Gervonta Davis' forward movement. So he was able to land some shots. He was getting in. Boom. He wasn't scared. He was letting not one punch go, but probably a minimal 3-punch combination. Boom, 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 boom. He was letting them guns blaze. Boom, 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 boom. And Gervonta, he was taking them. And he was getting hit with some shots. So we're saying the same thing we were saying again, like Lomachenko. Okay. Where's all this footwork at? We know Gervonta can dance. We know he has pretty decent foot movement and mobility in the ring. Where's that shit at? Talk to me. And then they implement the second phase of the plan where Gervonta started cutting his angles. He started shifting, pivoting, resetting. Then he started setting traps. He saw that his body work was, I know we've seen him pull back on some of those punches. That's what happened when you think. Gervonta was thinking in there. Of course he pulled some of his punches. He was disengaging freaking Leo Santa Cruz for the second phase of his offensive strategy. So sometimes when he was thinking in there and he was trying to pull that reaction out, okay, I'm here. Where you at? Where you at? Well, yeah, give it. And Leo Santa Cruz was thinking too. That's the elite level of boxing. You have two individuals that was thinking and processing the moment. So of course it's going to be some punches pulled in there. And that's what you saw from Gervonta. He kept landing that right uppercut. He kept going to the body. But he was taking some punishment. But yet that volume started to decrease and reduce itself due to the body work that Gervonta was putting in. Now Gervonta goes to the third phase. Gervonta starts to walk down Leo Santa Cruz, man. He starts to bully Leo Santa Cruz and take up his space. He starts to prove and convince Leo Santa Cruz you need to do something more. You don't have it. You don't have what I'm looking for. You can't hurt me. You don't have what I'm looking for. I mean, you don't have what you looking for. You can't hurt me. So I'm going to stay here and I'm going to keep on pressing you and I'm going to keep on pressing you and land them hard shots. And I'm going to keep on breaking you down until I get what I want. When he looked over to his corner and said, I got this. The same thing Adrian Broner did in Marcus Madonna, but with different results. Them guys can box. Not only can them box, these cats are motherfucking dogs. Bro, I told you plenty of time watching Gervonta fight. Gervonta is a savage man in the ring. You know how you see these lions licking the chops out there, eating in there. They got blood all on their motherfucking, and they tasting it. You know what I'm saying? They tasting the motherfucking meal. It just seems like Leo Santa Cruz was feeding Gervonta when he was eating. Gervonta was licking his chops in there. He was like, shit, salivating. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see you. Okay. I know you feeling this. I know you feel it. I got you. Don't worry about it. It ain't going nowhere. Gervonta was in his space giving it to him. And Leo Santa Cruz, I give him this. He was trying to have that poker face like nothing wasn't balling. But look, his action told and gave the data that Gervonta was looking for. His body, his behavior start to speak outside of his Leo Santa Cruz facial expressions. More so, his lack of work, his lack of output start to give Gervonta everything he was looking for. And that's when he started to bully Leo Santa Cruz, push him back, start to play around with him. And then when you saw him in the corner and you saw how Gervonta stayed in front of him, boom, he shot the right. Okay. You know, it kind of went through the gloves. Gervonta processed the data. He stayed right there. Look at the film. He steps back just a little bit. Just like when you saw Floyd Mayweather in there with Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor threw that motherfucking jab out there. And Floyd didn't move because he knew his distance. And the jab came up short. Same with Gervonta Davis. When he shot that right hand through the glove, he said, that's all I want you to do. Do it again. Slip to his left. That motherfucking right shot through. Gervonta hit him with the left uppercut. He sent it. I mean, not only did he send it, he whipped it. Crushed him. Leo Santa Cruz never saw the shit coming. The lack of space that Gervonta gave that punch to get through on his right side, and when he shot that uppercut underneath, oh my God. That shit was absolutely beautiful. But the only thing that wasn't was the sound of Leo Santa Cruz body hitting the floor. Boom. The reaction to the crowd. Seeing Leo Santa Cruz, their hometown guy, unconscious, sleep, out, cold. Oscar De La Hoya does not have confidence in Ryan Garcia yet. Yeah, I agree. D-Ray, what's good? Salute. Leo should be facing Gary. Leo should have faced Gary. Yeah, Leo should have faced Gary Russell at featherweight. I agree, D-Ray. I agree. You know what I'm saying? I wish it would have went down the way it should have, but that's kind of old news right now, man. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the Russell family. I know he's going through it with his father in and out of the hospital and everything. So shout out to Gary Russell. You know, and you know, they have a close-knit family. So I know they basically focus on that. But it was good to see him jump back online and give his post-fight on Gervonta, because he said, "Shorty, you know, when I seen him fight, I was licking my chops, Shorty." You know what I'm saying? You was stiff in there. You know, you was in there thinking, you know, I'll make you pay. I mean, that'll be a good fight to see Gary Russell and Gervonta Davis. I ain't gonna lie. It'll be a good fight. D-Ray said, do you think that low blow had an impact on Leo? Bro, listen, D-Ray. Boxers get hit with a low blow all the time. Boxers get hit with a low blow all the time. I don't think the low blow had the effect for which Leo Santa Cruz was making it. Because in mixed martial arts, fighters get hit with a kick, a shin sometimes, and they don't even take the full 5 minutes to recover from a kick. So I know it's bigger gloves. I know. But a low blow isn't just a low blow. Every low blow is different. Because everybody's physical composition to take that low blow is different. I watched it. I seen the low blow. It was right there in front of me. I didn't think it was punishing enough for Leo to take an extended amount of time. It was just enough for him to take the little time that he did and get back to work. Leo Santa Cruz getting that low blow didn't affect what was about to happen. Look, what happened was inevitable, y'all. It was imminent. It was imminent. It was pending. It was about to go down. There was no way you was going to stop it, people. Low blow or not. Outside trip to the canvas, it don't matter. It was bound to happen. Gervonta knocking out Leo Santa Cruz was going to happen. Y'all need to understand that. That shit was going to happen. Leo Santa Cruz was not going the distance with Gervonta Davis, especially the amount of pressure that Gervonta was putting on him. And people was like, oh, the weight cut. You have to understand one thing. Gervonta had one of the best weight cuts in his career because he was under the right, he was under the right guidance of Floyd Mayweather for an extensive period of time, absent of the distractions, focused, around a good nutritionist, around a tight schedule, discipline, because he understands the magnitude. In order for Gervonta Davis to change levels in his career, he has to change levels in his life. I repeat, in order for Gervonta Davis to change levels in his career, he has to change levels in his life. Because people can look at you in your life and they can sit up here and believe that has everything to do with your performance, which it does. Like if you undisciplined as a fighter and you're one of the top elite names out here in boxing in the sport and also in the lightweight division, and people see you out here ballooning up in between fights, they're going to say, you know, when he comes up to fight so-and-so, that might play a big role. I'm telling you, Gervonta's cardio, in my opinion, he looked much better than he did when he fought at 35. When he was in there with Gamboa. Man, he was running on fuel, man. Diesel. Gervonta Davis, energy was amazing. He wasn't there in the ring to be beat. There's no way he was going to be beat this past weekend. He wasn't losing. Gervonta wasn't losing this weekend. And the fight wasn't going the distance. For all these people saying, hear me out. All these people out here saying Leo Santa Cruz was a lighter, he was a smaller fighter. He came up from this. He came up from featherweight. He didn't come up from featherweight. Get your shit together. For those of you who want to drop inbox, he came up from bantamweight. Get your shit together. And so what? Manny Pacquiao came up from light fly. Y'all ain't up here goddamn talking about Manny Pacquiao. Oh, Manny Pacquiao came up from light fly. He's an 8th division champion. So you're going to praise the man for the belts he was able to pick up while he was gaining weight. But yet, when Gervonta dropping down in weight, one weight class, both belts on the line, y'all going to say, Leo Santa Cruz, he was a small guy. Not what I seen in the ring. Not what I fucking seen in the ring. They both weighed the scales. They balanced the scales, man. Gervonta didn't make weight. What are you talking about? Leo Santa Cruz was a bigger guy. First, then you say, oh well, Gervonta, he's not going to move up to 140. He's too small. So if he's too small for 140, how is he too small to go back to a division where he was already champion and he missed the weight? Man, come on with that bullshit. Errol Spence came into the sport. He was contending at super welterweight. Then he dropped down welterweight, right? What about Sean Porter? He came into the sport. He was contending at super middle. Man, y'all need to stop that shit. Sean came in there. He competed amateurs at super middle, didn't he? He came into his professional boxing career competing in super middle, right? And then he started to drop down the middle, and then junior middle, and then he's been contending at freaking welterweight. Y'all ain't saying he a weight bully, and he's one of the most aggressive boxers you will see. So how in the hell are you sitting up here nitpicking and being anal about Gervonta Davis dropping down and fighting Leo Santa Cruz? This is boxing life, right? Everybody's an expert at talking about this boxing shit, right? But when that shit presents itself in reality to you, 150%, you want to damn tear it down as if you're blind, and you say, oh shit, let me take my focals off. I've been having migraines. I'm not able to visually see what you're talking about. Explain that shit to me again. Let me watch the replay over. Well, I just don't see how that's just such a big fight. So if you don't see Leo Santa Cruz being a worthy opponent for Gervonta Davis, then what are you looking for? Because boxing is never going to have a depth unless they start reproducing hybrid individuals who are somewhat comparable to these sci-fi movies that's out there, while they creating superheroes. When is it going to stop? Because Leo Santa Cruz was a worthy. Look, you got people out here like Mikey Garcia, who's a 4th division champion. He moves up to fight Errol Spence. You know what? Michael Garcia is being great. What you see right here is Mikey Garcia daring to be great. So if he's daring to be great to go and try to contend against Errol Spence, who came in as a super welterweight initially when he took the sport, right? I think at this 3rd fight, he dropped down to welter. And Mikey Garcia can move up there after picking up a belt at Sergey Lipinets, and then formally unified at lightweight, stepping in there with a guy who they were saying the boogeyman in Errol Spence, but yet Mikey Garcia is daring to be great. What is Gervonta daring to be? Because his belt was on the line too. His belt was on the fucking line too. So it's okay for Sugar Ray Leonard, to be out the sport at 84, come back at 87, fought Marvin Hagler at a higher weight for 2 belts. Not for 2 belts, but to challenge Marvelous Marvin Hagler at that time for his belt. And then when he fought Donnie Lennon, it was for 2 belts. Lennon was fighting at light heavy. Sugar Ray was fighting at a heavier weight class. He was the smaller dude against Lennon, and he was dropped in the fight early. That ain't comparable to what Gervonta is trying to do. So you can move up, it's daring to be great. But if you go down in weight, depending on who it is, he's a smaller fighter. So Sugar Ray Leonard being out of the sport in 84, coming back after a long hiatus, you can't give him credit for stepping in there with a guy who was active like Hagler at a higher weight. Roy starting off a junior middle, in at heavy. So you ain't gonna say Gervonta putting his belt on the line, Leo Santa Cruz putting his belt on the line, that ain't starting to goddamn be great. And it was on PPV. What Teofimo Lopez was able to do, defeating Richard Coleman for the IBF and stepping in there with the top pound for pound, that ain't daring to be great. But you got people out here that saying Leo Santa Cruz is too small. It is absolutely asinine to believe how critical people are being right now just because it's not their favorite fighter. You have a division that is boiling over with talent, but yet people just don't want to say, you know what? I'm going to give Gervonta his credit, though, because he went in there and he proved in short fashion that he can go in there with a volume puncher like Leo Santa Cruz. He has the Mexican pedigree. He's a very tough fighter. He had that loss that he avenged. He never been stopped. This is a solid opposition for Gervonta to prove himself. Because y'all want to say Gamboa was one-legged. Okay, Gamboa was one-legged. How many legs did Leo Santa Cruz has? How many leg and arms did Leo Santa Cruz possess that night? He walked down right in front of me. He looked healthy. He was smiling. He was waving to his people. He was like, oh, it's time. It's time. Let's go. I'm Leo Santa Cruz. He was fighting for the spirit of his father and his fans and everybody else, and he went in there and performed. When Gervonta Davis hit the canvas, I know people was like, see, there we go. All that bullshit he was doing. That's he go. Leo Santa Cruz get the knockdown. That's what we was talking about. That's what the fuck we was talking about. He's undisciplined. He's not ready for the big time. He got knocked down. And then the referee did not waive it because from further replay is what? It was a trip. The feet were entangled. It was a mobile entanglement. And it was not ruled a knockdown. Even though Leo Santa Cruz did attempt to land a punch on the way down to make it seem that way, it was not ruled a knockdown, y'all. What's going on, Michael Lewis? He said, you see how Leo's length was a problem, but he wasn't quick or crisp enough to take full advantage. He took advantage of it when Gervonta was directly in front of him. And I think Gervonta was in front of him purposely to try to see what power Leo Santa Cruz had early. Because if you look at how centered Gervonta was early in the fight, he stayed there purposely. He stayed there because he wanted to, collect some things. He wanted to see what he was dealing with when Leo Santa Cruz was at his freshest. He wanted to see. Gervonta wasn't trying to move use his lateral movement. He wasn't even trying to redirect. He wasn't even trying to do any of that. He wasn't trying to, reset. He was just standing direct in the line of fire, and that's why he was taking punishment early. And when he went down, I know people was up here jumping and screaming like, oh, Tank goes down. Down goes Tank. Down goes Tank. Down goes Tank. There it is. The lack of discipline outside the ring. Down goes Tank. Yes, I'm getting my money. I'm getting my money. Nope. No, you're not. Because if you bet on Santa Cruz, you're not getting your money. Just like those of you that's going for Vasily Lomachenko, you're not getting paid tonight. Your palms might be open, but it's for those who betted you to receive their monetary gain and then going about their business. Absolutely. The fan, in my respects, Tank for how he took the heat and brought the flame. With that said, I would be concerned about when he comes across a wider, longer fighter that has the speed to work with him. Now I'm gonna repeat what you said on the back end of that, Lewis. Lewis said, if he comes across a wider, longer fighter that has the speed to work with him. And I'm a caveat to that. Y'all keep dropping your comments. I'm gonna give my take on that, Lewis. Solid point. I'm gonna give my take. Be right back. All right. Now, back to the last comment about Wilder, longer fighter. I look at it like this. I'm going to compare what you just said to Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter. All right? Because Mikey Garcia fought Robert Easter, right? At 35, right? What did he do? And Mikey Garcia is no Gervonta Davis. They have two different boxing styles, to be honest. They do. And we know Mikey Garcia is not this just crazy power puncher like Tank. But I look at Tank's boxing IQ. Tank has defense, y'all. Tank has defense to go in there and step and fight a wider, longer fighter. But who in the division there, Lewis? Who's in the lightweight division is going to present him with what you just mentioned? Who's wider? Who's longer? And who present those long-range rifles? Who? I know who. You better not. Don't do it. Who has that freaking Robert Easter length? Who at 35 right now, top name that may potentially step in there with Gervonta? Who's gonna do it? It's not Leo. It's not Teofimo Lopez. He doesn't have that height. He doesn't have that long range. He's not extremely advantaged when it comes to the height and reach advantage. Who? Ryan Garcia? Devin Haney? Who are we talking about? I want to know. It's not Richard Comey. It's not Vasily Lomachenko. Who in that division at 35 on I'm talking about top ranked opponent, because you can take a fighter that's tall, but if they don't have the skill set or the technical ability to handle somebody like Tank Davis, who absolutely is going to dedicate body work to you, who's going to give him problems? Just let me know. Just drop that comment below, man. Solid point, though. Let me read out some of these comments, man. Leo was 29.3 and Tank was 29.8. But physically, Leo looked longer and wider. Correct. And you're talking about additioning speed to that. I get it, bro. I try to tell people, Lewis, I say, God damn it, Leo was the bigger fighter in this square. I was there. I was right outside the apron. I was looking through the ropes. I wanted to see the expression. I wanted to hear the punches. I wanted to try to assess it, so when I talk about it, I can have a clarity that outside of someone that was looking at a TV, because I'm being able to hear and see things as the fight go along. I'm hearing the corner yell instructions. I'm trying to see what's going on with Tank. I really couldn't see Leo's corner that was on the far side, but I was close enough to hear what was going on in Gervonta's corner periodically, because of course you had a crowd on deck and it was much louder. But they both balanced the scale, Lewis, like you said. That's true words, bro. Tank sent a powerful message. Hold on. I got a phone call. Tank sent a powerful message. All the haters are just haters, and most of the haters really residual shade that people feel towards Mayweather. Hey, I have to say one of my favorite quotes. Say one more again. He said, Tank sent a powerful message. All the haters are just haters, and most of the hate is really residual shade that people feel towards Mayweather. And you know how that is? It has validity to it. Is because when Floyd was hugging Gervonta after the fight, people was booing him. You know why they was booing him? Because Floyd took over the virtual workout and he made it by himself. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, I totally give that 100% credibility, what you just said there, Lewis. You know, because people do have disdain for Floyd Mayweather, and they're going to have a sort of disdain for Gervonta too. But in that disdain, right, it's going to get Gervonta paid. Because if the people want to see him lose, they're going to continue to come see him fight. They're going to find a way to tune in. Yeah, we're in an era where streaming. Yeah, we're in an era where people are going to backdoor and crack it and all this other shit. But the money is going to be the money. The viewership is going to register numbers. And I'm going to tell you, you can only do so much. People are going to stream what they're going to stream, you know, whether they pay for it or not. But the connection with Gervonta Davis hugging Floyd Mayweather and people booing, that's going to get him paid. It's going to get him paid. It's going to get him paid. It's going to get him paid. And you know how I got him paid in one of the biggest fights with a guy who had an 0-0 record? It's because people actually believe Conor McGregor was going to go in there and defeat Floyd Mayweather. So when Gervonta hugged him, they actually felt like he was still trying to take some credit doing Tank's win. But Tank was on his knees hugging his mentor. Tank said, hey, man, I want to give thanks to Floyd. And then people start talking about how he was disrespecting Calvin Ford. Listen, it is a weird, strange dynamic that's going on. It is a lot of people that's pulling from different, that's been around Tank since he was young. I get it, man. You know, people want to say they're a father figure in Tank's life. I get it, man. You know what I'm saying? The way Floyd took over the virtual media there, I get it, man. People, why they want to hate on Floyd. But Floyd is the highest paid athlete. Floyd has he's been able to accomplish and set the bar throughout his career. And now his only success, his cash cow, is Gervonta Davis. Hands down, period. His cash cow is Gervonta Davis. And having success on this PPV is going to show. This PPV is going to do good numbers, y'all. It will be higher numbers than the Charlo brothers. I promise you that, because they had Leo Santa Cruz across the ring from him. So accept the fact it's going to do solid numbers. Just know that. It's going to do solid numbers. D-Ray said, great interview with AB. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And, you know, I know some people had dropped some shit in my inbox. You know, people show love. And, you know, it's difficult to get an interview with AB first and foremost. But, you know, when you're out there on the grind and your name get around, I was up there supporting the Cincinnati fighters, you know, driving 7 hours up to do what I do. That's not the first time I ran into AB. But you want to know why the interview was short, because he was on his way to work out. So when a fighter like AB give you a little bit of frame time, you take it. And then when they walk away, if they fucking with you, they hang around and bullshit you. But he told me before the cameras come on, man, we'll make this quick, man. I'm about to go work out. And he's in camp. So I'll take it as I get it. Shout out to AB, man. The real one in the game. All in all, it's good things for the sport. Leo fought a great fighter, but wasn't quick enough to truly use his length. Tank did his fucking job, and people have to respect it. He did, man. And you know, look, Leo was able to use his length, right, when Tank allowed him to. Isn't that how the game is played there, Lewis? You know what I'm saying? Like, he allowed Leo Santa Cruz to get off some punches. He allowed Leo Santa Cruz to touch him because he was gauging. He wanted to use Leo to use that energy. He wanted him to put forth and exert. He wanted him to exert that energy. He wanted to take it out of him, pull it from him. He was pulling shit from Leo Santa Cruz. He wanted to feel, let me see what his power like, man. Let me see what his speed like. Let me see what that timing's like. Gervonta Davis was testing. He was in the process of testing, collecting data like they do to make adjustments. When Leo Santa Cruz had his best success, that's when Gervonta was absolutely online centered, and he was pulling data from Santa Cruz. He was making them work. And some of those shots, not pop the head back of Gervonta Davis. And I was like saying to myself, come on, Gervonta. Damn, you don't have to go in there just to get a feel for how. You don't have to stay there for a long period of time. You can get in, get out. It's your option. But he refused to in the first couple of rounds because that was the plan. He refused to. He wanted to stay there, and he wanted to test the speed out of Santa Cruz, and of course feel it. He wanted to feel, the strength that Leo Santa Cruz had, if he had any. That's all. And when he started to make those subtle changes, he was still outside the distance. He was missing. He was pulling his shots. That's a credit to Leo Santa Cruz, who was also thinking, this dude's trying to damn set traps for me. He's trying to counter me every time I come in. And then the times that he was able to counter, Leo Santa Cruz felt the punches. I heard him. Shit. The PPV buys are still happening. Look at the description. Tank Davis KOs PPV numbers ? It's a leading statement. The PPV numbers, from what I'm hearing, was solid. But I'm not going to give you PPV numbers just so people can tune in and run with it. I'm gonna wait till they come out, because to be honest, I don't know the total, the final numbers. Even when the numbers hit the media, sometimes it's not the absolute numbers. That was a clear trip by Tank. Usyk had a slip, more questionable in his fight. Absolutely. Tank, when he went down, it was a slip. True words. Did you see the Gary Russell Jr. video? He wants Tank. Yeah, of course. Gary Russell's going to take this opportunity to try to set up a big fight. Smart. Why not? Come on, man. Every time G. Russell on the scene, man, why not? It'll be a different type of fight. Gary Russell is a very highly technical, skilled fighter. He ain't a Leo Santa Cruz. Gary Russell can box. So, of course, walking down Gary Russell would be much different than Leo Santa Cruz. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But it's always good to see Gary Russell take to the mic, man. I mean, how he reaches out to the fighters, man. He ain't overly hyped. He has a low monotone and he get his point across. That's respect, bro. Clearly a trip, but like during the Mayweather career, certain people judge boxing or MMA by aggression, all so they think Leo did something, but upon further review, no. I know, man, just like it was when Deontay Wilder was buzzed in the 7th round by Luis Ortiz for 41 seconds. When I was on the thread in the group, I think it was one of the last times I was on a boxing thread when the actual fight was going on. That's when I was chilling. I had some other shit popping, and I wasn't even on this live like that. But when Luis Ortiz buzzed him, people was hitting sin. See, exposed. Finally, Deontay Wilder is exposed. Listen, hey man, check this out, bro. Come on over here. Luis Ortiz about to defeat Deontay Wilder and take the belt. Check this out, y'all. This is what we've been talking about. He don't have balance. He lacking a boxing technique. This is all the flaws we've been talking about Deontay Wilder. Same shit when Gervonta hit the ground. Oh, he's down. People, grab your Coronas. He's down, people. Down goes Tank. Exposed. Man, y'all need to stop that exposed shit, dog. I never seen a bunch of individuals abuse the vocabulary and turn that shit into an anacaluthia. Man, you all are just abusing so trifling the word exposed. Every single time you see it in a title, so-and-so is exposed. I know y'all was thinking Gervonta went down from a knockdown. I know y'all was thinking that. I knew y'all was praying and goddamn rebelling for that man downfall because y'all some haters. Y'all some motherfucking cowards when it come down to it. Because certain fighters that you should be supporting, support the BBM. Don't hop on my channel talking about black people this, black people that. Motherfucker, I know what color I am. Support the BBM. Black boxers matter too. God damn it. Y'all need to get out the habit of, oh man, we know black boxers exist in the sport, but yet, in order for us to get ahead, we need to goddamn tear one of them down. We can't support both of them for their skill set and do a pro and con analysis and provide the fans for what they want to hear. The fans are going to provide their feedback regardless because that's who they are. They're tuning in and they're going to listen to what you say. They're going to retain it, catalog it, and then they're going to regurgitate it. They're going to give their own assessment in response to. It's always going to be a response to. You know what I'm saying? But how many times do we just pick out certain fighters, let's say black boxers, and we want to go and dive into their personal life? But yet you get a European fighter, a neighboring fighter, and they may have flaws in the ring, and they may not have the best performance, but you still praise them as being the best that's out here in the sport. Y'all know damn well Gennady Golovkin shouldn't be on the pound for pound list, but don't nobody say shit about it. He go in there and he look bad in performance. Don't nobody say shit. Canelo Alvarez has just separated himself. He do what the fuck he want to do. Yeah, y'all was on his ass for the computerol. But guess what? Just because he's moving up and down in divisions, y'all ain't saying nothing. But come Gervonta Davis now. When he hit the canvas, motherfucker was goddamn screaming and yelling, yes, I'm about to get paid. Money, money, money. Money. Money, 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 money. People thought they was about to get paid. They didn't see what I was seeing. I say Leo Santa Cruz is hurting. Leo Santa Cruz is feeling those body shots and those counter uppercuts. Leo Santa Cruz is in trouble. He's in trouble. Pull up all the lives that was up here streaming. Oh, Gervonta is down. Gervonta is down. Down goes Gervonta. Oh my God. Nope. Referee didn't rule nothing. Why? Why, ref? What are you doing, ref? What are you doing? That was a clear knockdown. Man, see, Floyd done paid off the ref, God damn it. I'm pissed. Floyd paid the ref off. Man, god damn, man, I'm driving up there to Vegas right now. Hey, go get my suitcase. Fuck that. I'm tired. I saw the Rolly shit happen. He goddamn made that shit pop off. Now it's Gervonta. Gervonta was clearly knocked down. Just like the referee when he was in that fight, Zab Judah, and he was knocked down. The referee act like he didn't see it. I'm pissed. I'm tired. I'm going to protest. I fuck with Floyd, but no, I don't like what he's doing, the influence on the sport. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, bro. Motherfucker was jumping up and down cheering like Gervonta actually got knocked down. No, not at all. Next. You know Tank was fighting at 130, right? Man, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. What are you talking about? Tank was fighting at 130. I mean, clarify yourself. I just want to clarify. It's no need to come back with an aggressive response. There's no need to come back with an aggressive response. If I'm comparing him to his division that he's currently holding the belt at, yeah, he scooped that Leo Santa Cruz belt at junior lightweight. I'm comparing him to the division for which he's rightfully in and competing right now, and that's the lightweight division. He holds a secondary belt in that division. So if you are talking about my analysis in comparison to the top names that he should face via PPV, then that's what it is. It don't have anything to do with asking me, you know, he competed at, Tank was fighting at 130. I was at the fight, bro. Come on. MXBC, man. I'm trying to hold down the respect, bro. I come on now. Y'all elevating and saying y'all doing this and that. But please refrain from those type of questions, man. Because I'm not trying to use too much energy to respond. When people always try to act like you're embryonic when you're speaking about the sport. If someone say, man, come on, bro, do better. I don't know who off the top of their mind, and your T.O. is not the guy Devin is Tank only real problem. Okay, I don't know who off the top of mind. T.O. is not the guy. Devin is Tank's only real problem. The fight between Devin and Tank could be huge. But like I said before, Devin Haney has to go in here and do something. I wouldn't say amazing, because the only thing I can say that would be amazing for Devin Haney to do in Gamboa's case this weekend, he will have to go in there and finish him in 6. I said this on another live. I'm not making this shit up. Go in there and finish him early. Go and finish Gamboa early and do it smoothly without controversy. That's all, because I'm telling you, Gamboa's been down before. What is Devin Haney gaining from this fight except a body on his resume? You have to hold that body to the same standard for which you're criticizing others for having him as a resident on their resume, and that is his age. You have to hold that shit accountable. You do. You can't all of a sudden praise and then give all this exalt to freaking Gamboa because he stepped in there with Haney. No, it's the same guy who stepped in there with freaking Gervonta Davis. And I'm just driving it back just a little bit because that's the most recent fight that he had with Gervonta. And people want to say, well, this, that, and the other. Well, Devin Haney was coming off a shoulder injury. He was a champion in recess, and he's back from the injury. Gamboa was back from Achilles tear. It should be an even playing field, right? So when the results happen the way they are, don't sit up here and just compare the fact that he was able to get it done better than Gervonta Davis. I also question if Gamboa is truly 150% off that Achilles injury. Seriously. Because how long ago was it before Joseph Benavidez was he shot and he still has problems on that leg when he stepped in there with Terrence Crawford? But he had an undefeated record, though. I can give you damn slide to slide. I can slide whenever you want to slide with comparisons to fights. But I'm just saying that Gamboa is not this much improved fighter than what you're going to see with Gervonta Davis, who fought at 35. Now, if Gervonta somehow links up with Tank, which I mean, not Gervonta linking up with Tank, but Tank linking up with Haney, I'll be highly surprised that shit pops off in freaking 2021. I'll be highly surprised, people. I don't think Floyd Mayweather is going to allow that fight to happen anytime soon. They're going for the money. And the crazy thing that you all have to understand is that it's some people that's in that division that can make money. And it ain't just seeing Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney. It can be Gervonta Davis and Teofimo Lopez. Why? Why do you say? It has a lot to do with star power. It has a lot to do with where the fight is going to be shown, PPV. Who is a big name? Yeah, you can say somebody's a big name, but when it comes to the money, who do they want to see more? Outside of this social media genre, who do they want to see more? Will they want to see Teofimo Lopez versus Gervonta Davis? Will they want to see Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney? Will they want to see Gervonta Davis versus Teofimo Lopez or Gervonta versus Devin Haney? The reason why I'm mentioning just 2 names of each in that trio, they're the biggest names. Forget Vasily Lomachenko. He's not fighting anybody right now in the 35-pound division. He's injured, and he's going to be out most of 2021, whatever. Right now, that trio I just gave you. Then you have, lingering outside of that, you have Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is in the mix, but we truly don't know if we will see him step up to any of that trio in 2021. I know he has that Luke Campbell fight on the horizon, but right now, that is the trio. You have the unified champion in Lopez. You have Gervonta coming off PPV, stopping another fighter in the lower division. Let me clarify that, because we have the chalkboard. We have people that's sitting at the freaking desk. You have to damn triple and quadruple explain shit. The performance he was able to give at 130 still will bleed over to him as a lightweight fighter. Because he picked up a strap. Hold on for a second. So I don't know who off the top of the mind, and you'll tell, okay, they didn't post the rehydration weight. It doesn't matter. Why y'all talking about rehydration weight? And I told you who's a bigger fighter. A fighter just don't go in there and rehydrate recklessly. That can affect the way they perform in the ring. Everything is everything is meticulously, slowly thought out. You just don't go in there and start pounding water. Rehydration is a very calculated process. You have to take your time in rehydration. Come on, y'all. At lighter weights, you think because you fight at a higher weight class, you're just gonna go in there and rehydrate and just pack back on and rehydrate? It's not working out like that, man. It can affect a lot of things. At the weigh-in, I was like, yo, and he weighs less than Tank. Leo was bigger, but definitely not better. Yeah, Leo was the bigger fighter in there. But at certain points early on in the fight, like I said, Gervonta Davis allowed Leo to touch him up. He allowed Leo to have success because he stayed right there for a reason. He wanted to kind of get the feel of how Leo was coming at him. What his speed was like and his power. That's what he did. He processed it. He collected the data, y'all. He downloaded it. And he made changes, man. And he pressed send. Exactly. Tank did the work and sold some tickets. Got to give the people a show. He did, man. He did more than give the people a show. That fight for 6 rounds was entertaining. That fight was more entertaining than the Gamboa fight. Seriously. And that was with a packed house. I have to call it for what it was. Because Gamboa, I'm not saying he wasn't fighting. He was there, but early in the fight, Gervonta had a different game plan, and it was much different as far as to the back and forth exchanges between Gamboa and Gervonta. It was a different type of atmosphere, as far as the action goes early on in the fight. See, Leo Santa Cruz clearly was having success in the first 2 rounds. And when he was having that success, it wasn't just one punch here, one punch there. Like he was letting his hands go in volume, and he was connecting, popping the head back at Gervonta. And people was like, oh, man, Gervonta, he's getting touched up. He's in trouble. He's going to have a long night if he don't make any changes. And, from looking at that from the outside, I can see where they were saying that. I can see where you was going with it. But he did put on a show, man. He gave the people what they wanted to see on PPV. Seriously. He was a dog. He was a killer. Shit, BBL, for real, for all the reasons people say that they dislike black boxers or MMA fighters, they will glorify fighters of other races. I know, right? It starts with other black people who rout against black people just cause. Man, that's a true statement right there, bro. That's a true statement, people. That's all I'm trying to say, because I'm not going to sit up here and say 100 times that I need somebody to identify that I'm a black person when I wake up. I don't need for you to tell me that shit. But what I see out here when people are talking about boxers, black boxers, BBM, black boxers matter too. When you have your own people destroying another black fighter viciously and derogatory, and deep down inside, them individuals, a lot of them, they never laced up. They don't even know how to wrap their hands. They don't know. They can't even sit up here and give you 5 freaking jumping jacks without gasping for air. A lot of them are not living a healthier lifestyle to go out here and actually complete a workout. But they'll sit up here, and the people who are going through fight camp and they're dedicating their lives to the sport of boxing, for which these individuals saying they love, they talk about it, they're passionate about it. If you're passionate about it, you at least truly, physically would get in there and try to understand on a lower level of sparring or something to try to get a gist so you can understand that, damn, this is harder than I thought. When you get pinged in the motherfucking head with a hook or you take a jab to the face, that shit is not fun. So when you're dogging out these professionals for their performances just because it doesn't suit what you're looking for, or you don't support the fighter, you start making it personal, dogging them out, talking about they ain't shit, their career ain't been shit, and all the fight camps that they've been a part of, all the traveling, all the amateur fights that they've been a part of, all the time invested in their career, only to make it up to the professional level to be praised and identified as one of the elite fighters. But yet, when it comes to this social media venture, you have so many echoes of reckless voices out here of people just saying, nah, they ain't shit, man. Who have they fought? Who have you fought? Who have you fought? You talking about who they fought? Who have you fought? When the last time you worked out? A lot of y'all probably be looking like 6ix9ine when he was up there on the video with freaking Ryan Garcia. A fight has to go outside of 60 seconds. It ain't no one punch. You can't sit up here and continue to just criticize fighters about who they fought. Because in order for somebody to be considered great, it has a lot to do with popularity. But popularity shouldn't come at a point where it's a testament that you only want to look at, oh man, I'm going to support my fighter. Even though they had a bad showing, I'm still going to support them. I'm still going to talk real highly of them, even though they didn't have the best performance. And plus their opponent is not even considered a great fighter. So we talked about this earlier, like when it comes down to the criteria of a fighter being great, you have to weigh in on their opponent. Now, if their opponent, you have to weigh on their opponent's opponents. Because you can't just put that opponent in there with your favorite fighter and say on that night, that was his best fight he ever fought. Without saying, well, before he stepped in there with so-and-so, he fought this guy who had 4 losses already. When he fought this guy, he lost, but it was via knockout. And he fought that guy who was a former champion who stepped in there with that champion. That's not the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't sit up here and say, well, this fighter right here, he has an O on his record. You have to look at the fighters for which he has collected and built his resume off of. And then, of course, if he's building up his resume, you have to look at if the O that those opponents, if they are undefeated, how much value on Wall Street does it have in your consideration of your favorite fighter being great? If they are undefeated, just say they 15, 20 and 0. Who have they fought? If they've been fighting in a different country outside of the US and you don't know any of their opposition and they step in with your favorite fighter, how in the fuck is that going to make your favorite fighter great if the O on his record has been built up to get him to this point to make a big paycheck? How does that work? It doesn't. It's all paper. It's a paper trail, man. That's the format of boxing, y'all. That's the format of boxing. You will always have fighters building up their records, whether it's in the internal to the footprint of the U.S. or outside the U.S. It's always going to happen like that. But when you have these fighters, just say they was fighting in Dominican Republic or Russia or whatever, all their fights has been over there building up. It's the same format as over here in the U.S. So when they come over here and they 21 and 0, Don't build up your favorite fighter and say he's facing a 21-0 fighter. And what's his name again? Huh? Where did he come from? Oh man, this is his first time fighting in the US. Okay. So your fighter goes in there and stop him in 2 rounds, and you're saying that he's great? The guy built up his entire record to come over here and fight somebody like that and freaking get the paycheck. And some of them don't. Some of them are legitimate and they come over here and they get a win and so forth. But a lot of these fighters over here in the US, man, has fought fighters from neighboring countries and they stopped them. We just seen, a fight with Josh Taylor. The fighter had the same record as Josh Taylor, undefeated, and Josh closed him out in the first round. Does that make Josh Taylor any greater? No, it doesn't. If Devin Haney goes in here and cleans out Gamboa in 6 rounds, I'm saying half of what Tank did. Okay? He goes and closes out Gamboa in 6 rounds. Does that make Devin Haney any great? It doesn't. It just proves that he can go in there and clean up an opponent that's already been cleaned up already. He's been stopped, and he did it in better fashion. The reason why I say it's not going to improve any type of Wall Street for Devin Haney is the fact that when you want to compare Devin Haney to Teofimo Lopez, you always have Mason Menard out there. Mason Menard went 9 rounds with Haney, and he went 1 round when he was brutally stopped face first with Teofimo Lopez. No one's comparing that shit. 9, subtract 1. He did it in 8 rounds better. Come on, man. We don't really care about that because Mason Menard wasn't one of those fighters that was on our radar as being at the top of the tier. But he was able to step in there with fighters who are building themselves up and are considered some of the elite fighters in the game. And that is, the Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney's and, Gervonta Davis and all that. But in that perspective, what I just mentioned, comparing Mason Menard between the two, hey, that's just like what I put out there against Vasily Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis. Then they fight Pedraza. Lomachenko went the distance with him. Gervonta cleaned him out. Vicious knockout. Nobody want to talk about that shit because Lomachenko and Davis is not even close to fighting each other. They just want to say, yeah, Lomachenko went in there and defeated Pedraza. So what? When he stopped Linares, was that the first time Linares had been stopped in his career? No. So why are you praising and lifting up a fighter as being one of the greatest? But yet Gervonta goes and faces a guy with 1 loss and 4 division champion. Y'all want to say, well, he was contending at featherweight. He's a 126 pounder. No, he actually was bantamweight. So even if he was bantamweight, you're going to say a 4 division champion that formerly fought at bantamweight isn't worthy because Gervonta dropped down, and you want to say, oh, well, he was undisciplined. Gervonta, he balloons up to like 150 in between fights. So how does that even make sense? Because when they have to make weight and Gervonta has a penalty if he doesn't make weight, and he makes weight under the limit, not on the limit, under the limit, he goes in there and crushes this dude. And y'all say, well, Leo Santa Cruz was a smaller guy. He was a 26 pounder. No. He was a bantamweight when it all kicked off. So is he a bantamweight when he weighed in Friday? No, he was not. So what is this damn delusional narrative on talking and discrediting a fighter when they have weight limits for a reason? And not only that, let me make clarification, people. This is a mere 5 pounds. 5 pounds, people. Gervonta is dropping down from the next neighboring weight class above, and he's dropping down to 130. It's only a 5-pound difference. It's just a 5-pound difference. Things switch up when you go from junior welter to welter. It gets a little bit different. We're talking about 7 pounds, right? Right? It gets a little different, right? What about from welterweight to junior middleweight or super welterweight? It's a little bit different, right? But we're talking about 5 pounds, 5 freaking pounds, and people up here whining, crying. He's a bigger fighter. But yet you saying he can't fight at 140 because he's too small. Make up your goddamn mind, man. The fight was at 130. He hasn't fought a true 135 top dog. Who cares who he hasn't fought at 135? This whole entire live is about what he was able to do with making the weight at 130, a division that he competed in as a champion before. So who cares if he hasn't fought? He was a champion at 130 before, and now he took the belt that Leo Santa Cruz had at 130. Who fought for the vacant, right? Isn't that how boxing works? You know what I'm saying? Like you can say he hasn't fought a top dog. He hasn't fought a top dog. Well, I guess now that he was on PPV, we'll see him fight a top dog at 35. I don't think any of my narrative had basically said that the numbers are in and Gervonta is who he is, this, that, and the other. I can say he's a top 2 lightweight because of what he's been able to accomplish in the sport. People fight for vacant titles all the time. You have to just digest that. People fight for vacant titles all the time. That's what Gervonta Davis did when he stepped up to 35. He fought Gamboa for a vacant title. I'm not going to get into who makes secondary and third dairy and 4 dairy and 5 dairy titles. We got franchise chip green panty titles. We got WBA with appendix A, B, C, and D titles. We got all these motherfucking titles. I don't give a damn. I ain't talking about all that shit. Just to say Gervonta hasn't fought a top dog, it doesn't work like that because really he is a top dog. Teofimo Lopez fought a top dog, right? And then, you know, they go out here and criticize Teofimo Lopez because now they want to say that Lomachenko's shoulder was hurt. No, Lomachenko was a top dog. He was the best athlete in the world. People want to compare him to Muhammad Ali. But when he loses, the first thing, oh, look at little Lomo. Lomo, is he okay? We heard he hurt his shoulder. We're gonna be outside. You know, we're gonna sit out here until he gets out because we're true Lomo fans. We're gonna stay outside the hospital. We got our sleeping bags and our tents. And be sure to let me know when you post that pic so I can share it all over social media of him and all his decisions. And man, come on already, bro. This shit is just, man, this is beneath me. You want to post shoulder? You in the hurt business. You had close to 400 amateur fights. You gonna post a picture of shoulder incisions? And you gave away the first half of the fight, but people actually thought you was going to win when you came back from the 8th through the 11th round. Now you want to post damn social media pics of incisions? Man, that's just childish, man. That's just like that's prima donna shit. That you trying to gain the empathy of fans because you lost the fucking fight. And you know what? Gervonta Davis is a top dog at 35. Teofimo is the top dog at 35. He is the unified champion. He's a unified champion. But what separates Gervonta Davis from Teofimo and Devin Haney is that he was able to fight another top competitor at a different division on PPV. PPV is PPV, y'all. Get it through your heads. PPV is PPV. It has nothing to do with belt status. You can get a belt and all this, but you cannot fight on PPV. It's a big deal when you're headlining a pay-per-view, people. It's a big fucking deal. When you're headlining a PPV. Stop putting the belts into the equation and talk about how many top dogs are at the lightweight division. Be honest. I'll get back with you on that. Just let me know. How many top dogs are at the lightweight division? Just let me know. Devin needs to watch this guy and not give Tank anything to study or shit on him about. And listen, Lewis, it's going to be that anyway because Devin Haney does it. Gervonta does it. Neither one of them are innocent. They both shit on freaking T.O. I mean, they're going to do what they do. They're going to say what they say. That's the sport of boxing. They're going to talk shit to one another. But both of them have a common denominator in between both. That's Floyd Mayweather. I don't care if Devin Haney signed with his own or not, man. When it comes down to Gervonta fighting and Floyd training Devin Haney at one point in time, Floyd Mayweather is going to have an influence in the decision-making process when it comes to Gervonta stepping in there with Devin Haney, if it happens. Devin Haney doesn't have long left at 35 division. And you know what? You may never see that shit. I'm telling you, you may never see that shit. We may never see Devin Haney fight Gervonta Davis at 35. Seriously. Because if he's basically there being given the blueprint to make as much money as possible, they want to fight the fighter with the larger fan base. And we all know when it comes to black fighters, they don't have a huge fan base. We don't have that strict, accommodating, direct fan base like the Filipinos, like the Hispanics, like the UK, the Russians, Ireland. When it comes to black fighters, point blank, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You have too many that's out there supporting other neighboring fighters and dogging out the ones that's right here doing what they're supposed to do in their own home soil. I.e., Deontay Wilder and other fighters. Honestly, it's not going to be easy for Devin Haney to watch Gamboa. Dude is still fight as a man. Hey, you're right, TJ. I agree. You know, watching Gamboa fight. If you're in the building, hit the like button, man. If you're in the building, hit the like button. You know, I don't say it too often. If you fuck with me, you know you fuck with me, man. Hit the like button. I ain't asking for no freaking live chats every other thing, but you want to donate. You know what I'm saying? I give you my one. I give you my one, people. But when it comes down to Gamboa, he still has that type of energy. He still has enough boxing in him to make this a pretty entertaining fight. He took some punches from Tank, man, that made me put my hand in my mouth. I said, oh, shit. God damn. Shit, Gamboa, move your fucking head, dude. You getting killed up in this fight. And then Gamboa stayed in there, man. Gamboa is tough. Look, he was stoic the whole fight week. He's a tough dude. But I'm telling you, I don't think his Achilles is 100%. I'm just keeping it all the way. I don't think his Achilles is 100%. I don't think Gamboa's Achilles is 100%, y'all. I think just because, you know, they need an opponent and Gamboa's name is out there coming off Gervonta Davis, as boxing always in rotation, recycle opponents. And Gamboa is really trying to get his name back out there, you know, for some paychecks before he retire. Why not go to the next big name, Devin Haney? Don't sit up here and act like Gamboa is this masterful boxer and the only reason he got knocked out because he had an Achilles rupture, Achilles tear. No, Gervonta was giving him the work. Period. And he went the 12th round, so be it. But the weight cut was different for Gervonta for that fight. He was tired in the middle of rounds. He had to push through it and stay on the gas like he did. He's a savage, bro. He's a hunter. He's a predator. I'm not gonna say he's not a predator because Gary Russell don't think he is. I'm just saying anybody who look at the way Gervonta fights and don't say that dude don't have dog in him. Well, who the fuck does? And I know there's different types of dogs. You have a miniature terrier and you have mastiffs. Terriers, when it comes to those little Yorkie terriers, they're not known to sit up here and cause people to get locked up for dog fighting. They're not known for people being bit and mauled. You just don't hear it. But when you talk about the more aggressive breed, pit bulls and all those other fighters, I mean dogs out there that are accused of dog fighting, the viciousness of it all, it comes down to when you see Gervonta Davis fight. He's a dog in that motherfucker, dog. He's a dog. He's vicious. Y'all had to give that man respect. Y'all better start respecting him. He's a dog. He's a gorilla. He has to taste it, man. Gervonta gets stronger as he starts to taste what he's in there with. He starts to salivate, man. It makes him even more hungry. I know it's not easy, but I think if it doesn't happen, then it's a bad look. Man, hey, Lewis, boxing gives bad looks all the time with matchups. That's why people always say that the best never fights the best. It's going to be a bad look regardless, but it's not ducking. But they're not going to call it ducking because it has a lot to do with Floyd Mayweather. And they're going to say, well, Floyd moving Tank how he moves him. Well, why can't you say the same thing for other people? They're moving their fighters the way they move them. It all factors in how can they benefit the most from stepping in there with a hard opponent, a tough opponent that's a top level, top tier fighter, a high ranking opponent. What do they have to gain? Especially the paycheck. The paycheck and the name is priority 1 and 2. Third, what is it going to be? What the fight is going to be? What fan base are we talking about? Are we going to have a live gate? Is it going to be PPV? Factoring in all those variables, man. But as far as a bad look, boxing has a lot of bad to it. We might as well get that, understand that's acceptable. And we're never going to get the fights that we truly want at that division. But please, don't go through here every other day talking about, so-and-so didn't fight this, so he's never going to be shit in boxing. That's just look, that's just a point where you have to look at somebody and say, damn, I really thought you was a hardcore boxing fan. But obviously you're not. Because you're nitpicking at one particular fight. So you're a temporary. You cover the sport temporary, and then you jump in here and you drop what you want to say. You want people to believe it. Now, boxing is way deeper than that, people. You can't sit up here and take one fight on a person's resume. Wasn't nobody talking about the one loss Leo Santa Cruz had, but yet he avenged it. So they say, he avenged it, so it's not a big deal. They always want to talk about Terrence Crawford. They're going to be talking about the Naoya Inoue, how he went the distance with Nonito Donaire. They call him monster, right? But why you didn't knock him out? Not too many people talking about Sean Porter when he lost his title to Kell Brook. Because he went in there and defeated Danny Garcia for the vacant, but no one's talking about, it was a vacant title. They're just talking about, Sean Porter. It's all about the popularity of the fighters. That's what it's about, man. The popularity of the fighters and what they're able to accomplish. Right now, the lightweight division has a lot of elementary freaking tones to it. Because you have big names that's there, But people making it seem like it's as easy as snapping your finger for all these people to face one another. It's not that fucking easy. If Teofimo Lopez, who is the king right now with all the belts, he should be able to make the moves how he deemed necessary. If he chooses to step up and fight at 140, he can step up at 140 and come back to 35, however he chooses to do it. He's the king of the mountain right now. You can't say Gervonta the king of the lightweight division when he don't have all the belts. He fought PPV at a lighter division. It looked good. It's a good look for him. But to say he hasn't fought the top dogs at 35, the top dogs are occupied except Teofimo Lopez. And that would be a big fight for Teo if he chose to fight Gervonta. But give it up to Floyd for saying that he wants Gervonta to fight one more fight before even considering him to fight Teofimo Lopez. That's Floyd. Come on, that's Floyd. Can you imagine that fight stylistically? Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis coming off their performance the way they did. Can you imagine that fight in 2021 coming off their performance? Y'all have to assess that the same way I am, people. It has absolutely nothing to do with belts because people the first thing they're going to do is say, what about Haney? It's a shame that you have to re-explain yourself because I treat everybody that I'm talking to as intellectual adults that's age appropriate and they understand, they're smart. Sometimes when it comes to the boxing game, it doesn't have anything to do with belts. It has a lot to do with money. So you might find an individual that's fighting an opponent that's in a position like Teofimo, who's a unified champion. He might go where the money at. Why? You say the money? Because right now, Gervonta Davis' name is on fire right now, just like Teofimo Lopez. It's on fire. Why is it on fire? Because it's burning from previous, more recent performances. And people are looking at the scheme of things in the 35 to 135 pound division like, damn, this shit is interesting. But like I said before, Devin Haney got a fight coming up. He goes in there and let's say he does it. He has to do it in spectacular fashion early. He has to go in there and wash him. Sun is out. It's a perfect day. I'm about to clean up the whip and go down to the park, pick up my girl. Boom, we good. It had to be that type of day. He had to go in there and watch this dude, man. Easy work. No damage. He has to go in here and clean Gamboa out, send him home. I'm not going to get anything out of it if he doesn't go in here and clean him out in half of the time Gervonta did. Because you can't sit up here and continue to criticize other people in the division and just talk shit about them. And you're fighting an opponent that more recently was cleaned out by Gervonta, who's a damn champion also in that lightweight division. So what, you go to 7 to 8 rounds? Now, I want to see you do it half the time if you're saying you're that much better than Gervonta. That's just a competitive part in me. You know, like I got to do it in spectacular fashion. Spectacular fashion is half of the time it took half of the time or less it took Gervonta to stop Gamboa in the 12th round. If you do it in the 7th, 8th, 9th, who cares? He's just another damn name on your resume. It's not like he's undefeated. He does have a respectable Olympic pedigree, but guess what? He's on the resume of other people with that same Olympic pedigree, and they still dog the man out. They still dog him the fuck out. So which part of it do you want? Which slice of cheese you want, man? You think Floyd will put Tank in there with Russell Jr.? Look, from what I know behind the scenes, listen to what Russell told y'all. He said they're doing me wrong, right? Did y'all hear that? That's all I'm going to say on that. I'm going to tell you why they're velocity cuts. Because anyone who follow boxing long enough know that Russell has called Floyd all sorts of names. They don't have a good relationship. Russell ain't getting that fight because Floyd is going to be like, nah, I ain't putting you in there because they don't like each other. And you think he's going to give you a shot at his cash cow? Floyd is real close to Al Heyman. You know what I'm saying? I know Al Heyman is not a promoter, but when it comes down to him stepping in there with Gervonta, I don't see it happening anytime soon, people. It ain't happening. It's good for Gary Russell coming here, but I truly believe he's being blackballed, and I know for a fact, and he's not going to get that fight. You know, will it do good numbers? Will it be a good fight for the fans? Absolutely, it would. Outside of the top names that's currently in the lightweight division, absolutely it would. But is it going to happen? Not anytime soon. Floyd is not going to give Gary Russell that shot at Tank. It's not going to happen. It's a dangerous fight too. Gary Russell can box. I don't care what nobody say. I think Tank could take Haney's belt, but Ford probably won't like that situation. Floyd ain't in here to like nothing. Seriously, man, the shit that goes on with the mentality of Floyd, I know you see him doing what he's doing, but Floyd, man, is a dog too, man. Floyd changed the game of boxing. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have people trying to hang on to their O's for the longest of time. But listen, an O doesn't determine the greatness of a fighter, because most of the greats that we sit up here and say that we boxing historians and we know about have losses on their record. You can't sit up here and continue to say so-and-so ain't undefeated. They got one loss and they ain't shit, when a lot of the greats have multiple losses, people. A lot of the greats have multiple freaking losses on their record. It ain't all about the O. In mixed martial arts, you have fighters that are still adored by their fans with multiple losses on their record. They're considered legends with multiple losses on their record because it's who they stepped in there with that allows them to wear the label of being called a legend of the sport. In boxing, it's much different. So you get one or two losses. Oh, so-and-so ain't shit no more. And then he steps in there with on one of your favorite fighters. Oh, man, so-and-so, he's a quality opponent. Look who he's been in there with. No, keep the same energy. Who has he lost to? And why all of a sudden he's important when he's stepping in there with your favorite fighter? How does that fucking work? It doesn't. It's called biasness. It's called having an ex parte narrative. It's called driven freaking standing water. It's a toilet bowl, septic tank, and you just keep on flushing the same shit over and over again. It still smells the same the first time. It's shit. I think Scott is right about Floyd not wanting to rush that Tank and Devin action. Look, Floyd not only is not going to rush it, but he's going to allow Tank to, first of all, maneuver himself with big paydays. Why? Because Floyd get paid, people. Floyd is getting paid too. Do you think it's going to be easy to set up a Devin Haney fight when he signed with the Zone? Even though Al Heyman, he has a pretty decent, healthy relationship with Eddie Hearns, to be honest with you. He does. He have a decent relationship. It's amicable. Business. They've known each other for quite some time. I'm telling you. It's going to come down to business. It's going to come down to history. Floyd has a relationship and a backstory, you know what I'm saying? A common sequence with both fighters in Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis. He do. You know, it was a big deal with him training freaking the op, as Gervonta Davis call it. Floyd, you know, I'm signed with you, Floyd. Why are you training the op? What the fuck is that about? I was planning on doing my training camp down there, but I guess not. You know, that was recent. That shit was fresh before the Gamboa fight. That's more recent, people. So that's why people tripping and booing when Gervonta was hugging Floyd Mayweather, because they believe he ain't really treating Gervonta right. And anybody knows every move that Floyd make has a monetary value to it. You're not getting shit for free. I was able to get his attention for free though. I was like, hey, what's good, money? You know, when he was walking out back to the damn dressing room to get ready for the fight. But that shit don't do nothing for me. That's another grown man. Like I was happy, but it was all good. It was fight night, and the main event was on deck. But Floyd is not gonna say, hey Gervonta, I want you to come over for a second. You know, we're gonna have a nice meal. We're gonna talk about potentially after this Devin Haney fight for you and him to step in the ring. It's not gonna happen, people. It ain't gonna happen. Because if y'all same fight fans are screaming for Devin Haney to fight Teofimo Lopez, which one do y'all want? Y'all want Devin Haney to fight for all the belts, or do you want him to fight his nemesis? Which one you want? Because if you want him to fight his nemesis, that means it's kind of contradicting for what I hear all the time. You want to fight for the belts, for legacy, or you want to go ahead and fight and prove a point that he's better than Gervonta? Because I'm going to tell you, people, that fight isn't easy. That fight isn't easy. And you can say it's going to marinate or whatever you try to, link it up with. You want to marinate. It's going to be because of the contentions between, the two fighters. At the end of the day, Floyd Mayweather has respect for both of these fighters, and he's not going to just sit up here and put his cash cow in there with Devin Haney. And Devin Haney, I think, his focus for him and his team is definitely to be in the biggest fight, PPV, with Teofimo Lopez. That's his biggest draw, not Gervonta Davis right now. His biggest draw coming off this fight, which is very close to Teofimo's fight with Vasyl Lomachenko coming out of fight camp. So give or take some time off after this fight with Gamboa. I see Devin Haney winning. And then 2021, we'll see if Team Lopez is considering taking his next fight with another heavy hitter, another big fight, this time on PPV, and both fighters get the biggest paychecks of their career. And it's for all the crowns at the lightweight division, all the crowns. It'll be a big fight. This is an opportune time for both of these fighters, Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, to set their own bar when it comes to pay-per-view. But it has to be pay-per-view. It has to do with the live gate, and that's where it comes into a problem with. Because Top Rank is not willing to go that route yet. Right? I'm talking about for the fighters trying to make the most money as possible with a PPV and a live gate. Make the most of it. Allow fans to be able to go see the fight. Combine the shit together so resume-wise, we can put those numbers together and both Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez stock rises because we're combining two sources of revenue to support these fighters. Partial live gate and freaking goddamn PPV. If they want to go strictly PPV, we'll just go off the PPV numbers. But at least it allows them to be able to headline on the pay-per-view card. And not only the PPV, it's for all the crowns, y'all. All the crowns. No more talking. No more talking. Go into the ring, fight for all the damn marbles. Everything on the line. Every belt is on the fucking line. Mano a mano. Let's prove who the best. No more this so-and-so has one more. Everything mano a mano for everything. 2021. That's what it's about. I think, let me see. I see Tank versus Jojo Diaz next. Tank versus Jojo Diaz would be a pretty decent fight. All right. Due to the way Jojo Diaz's style is. I respect Jojo Diaz. Even when he stepped in there with Gary Russell, I know he wasn't going to win, but I respected him. And, pretty much Gary Russell, being that he's a thinker in there too, very highly skilled, very elite boxing IQ. he showed JoJo Diaz it was levels. And JoJo took from that fight and he moved on with it. And then he went in there and fought freaking Tevin Farmer. And I'm going to tell you, bro, like, come on, man. Dude's a champion now, and that'll be a pretty decent fight. Seriously. That right there, with JoJo Diaz, a dude that fought with a cut over his eye like that, I got mad respect for JoJo, man. I like that fighter. He's about that. He's about that smoke. That wouldn't be a bad fight, man. Yeah, Leo was taller. I agree. Leo was taller. You know, but Tank ain't gonna get any credit for Leo being taller and bigger. They're not gonna give him no credit. They're just gonna say, "Oh, Tank moved down the division, 5 pounds." Ryan Garcia, nice, but I don't really believe in him yet. I think he's another wannabe De La Hoya type that is fast, but not De La Hoya. So until further notice, he is. I agree with that. You know, I'm still not sold on Ryan Garcia. I like the videos and how he's marketing himself out here in the public eye. I totally co-sign and check the box on that. Real talk. Market yourself as a fighter the best way you know how. Because I told people a long time ago, I don't think Ryan Garcia is going to be in the sport that long before he turned over to Hollywood. I truly think Ryan Garcia is going to be in Hollywood when he gets to his middle 20s or something like that. And he's going to put boxing behind him if he chooses to come back. That's what it is. But Ryan Garcia has Canelo Alvarez that he's able to work with. So I can't really say that he's not learning anything by having them people around him. But obviously not too long ago, you know, Canelo Alvarez is still going through his situation. Ryan Garcia is going through his situation with Oscar De La Hoya. So of course that's going to affect certain things. It's going to affect certain negotiation processes, you know, who he's fighting and all that, what he's going to make. But the one thing that Tank mentioned was Ryan Garcia's name before he even mentioned Devin Haney or anybody else, because he has like 7 or 8 million followers, right? So they're trying to get the bag. People, you have to understand how smart it is to be able to get paid for being in a hurt business that don't have a retirement plan. Why is the narrative always out here floating and saying, man, fight this person, fight that person? You ain't paying them shit. You fight them. You want to go through here and fight the best where it's not going to be monetarily beneficial to you? Fight the fights that's going to make you the most money. If you have the option to fluctuate divisions and you think you're capable of doing that, then do it if the money is right. But why put this stipulation on people to say, well, you need. No, it's the fact that you want. And that fight, comparable to who they sign with, where the fight is going to be at, the venue, all this shit, you know, is the right time. Man, fighters need to get paid as much money as they possibly can while they're in the sport. This is a tough sport. And for anybody who doesn't see the worth of a fighter going in here trying to increase their value each and every time they step in the ring, they're temporary to the sport. They don't care. They don't care about the fighter. They're pretty much the obstinate type of individual who's all about themselves. And they just want to get on here and talk about what a fighter should do, when the fighter is actually the one that's splitting the ropes, making the paycheck. You we'll see Tank versus Shakur one day? Now, you know, a lot of people just keep Shakur on the outside of their sentence in this equation because he's in the 130 division and he's pretty much waiting for the Miguel Perchelt, or, you know, at one point in time, we thought it would be Jamel Herring, which he would have absolutely made easy work of Jamel Herring. I was really hoping he can go in there and pick that strap up, the WBO strap, but that's not going to be the case. Shakur Stevenson stepping in there with Tank Davis anytime soon will be a tough fight for Shakur Stevenson. And I think Shakur Stevenson is absolutely the future of boxing in his own perspective. And he's a very talented, well-skilled. I'm talking about Shakur Stevenson is the truth. He is the truth, man. Shakur Stevenson is the absolute truth when you're talking about boxing. I've seen these cats fight. I even seen Devin Haney fight early in his career. I don't talk about it because he dropped through the ATL over there in Buckhead, and I saw him fight. I never really mentioned it. I just kept it to myself because I know how what my travels have took me in boxing. I've seen him fight, man. I've seen Shakur Stevenson. I've seen Gary Russell, all his brothers fight in person. Seen Gervonta. It would be a damn good matchup. But it's not a fight that Shakur Stevens is going to take anytime soon, in my opinion, at 130. It'll be a very, very exciting matchup. But Shakur Stevenson is not going to be fighting Gervonta Davis anytime at 130. And Shakur Stevenson made it clear that his intent is to basically clean up the 130, the 130-pound division. I mean, he's trying to wait till this Burchelt fight get over and see if his name is the next one. I'd be highly surprised if it works out that way. Because people are saying Burchelt is definitely going to give Valdez the business. But Valdez is a tough fighter. We'll see where Shakur Stevenson falls into the equation. But he is absolutely the truth. I like Shakur boxing style. I have nothing but positive freaking words to say about him as a boxer. Seriously. That would be a damn good fight to watch. I ain't gonna lie. Look, on PPV. There's no other way to say it. On PPV, people. Did you get Floyd and Tank's autograph? Man, please, buddy. Buddy just asked, did I get Floyd? Look, you can't even get close to Floyd, dog. Hey, I talked about this last night. I was like, shit. Floyd bodyguard is people, individuals that they went searching in these caves for out in the mountains. These cats that you see in sci-fi movies that just been living in caves killing motherfucking game with their bare hands and shit, spears, arrows and shit. They over there sending special team on an expedition to go over there. Hey, you back there, yeah. Follow the light. We're not going to harm you, okay? Man, you a gargantua. Huge. How you all been surviving? I saw the bones out here. But damn, what is your weight? What's your height right now? You're 10 feet tall? Good Lord. I mean, those bodyguards that's around Floyd, man, are different type of individuals when it comes to human life in general. No way I'd be able to get a freaking interview because they was look, when it came to the main event, you know, they wanted to damn clear the crowd out from the side of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? They want to keep everybody back. But yet, you look up in the stands, all the people that was up in the stands was crowded over the tunnel area. There wasn't no social distancing there. So how do you stop freaking this transparent, translucent COVID-19 shit? You can't even get close to these people. So to answer your question, hell no, I can't get close to Floyd or Tank because, man, Tank then was back there celebrating. You had Lil Uzi Vert, you know, that did the walkout and all that. That's what I like about the culture in boxing. I like that shit. You know, Tank didn't have the same person, the same hip hop artist come out with him that he did down in the ATL. You know what I'm saying? I think he had Lil Baby, and then he had Lil Uzi Vert this time. Switch it up. and listen, I'm not trying to get an autograph from these cats. I've taken pictures with them, but why would I ask them for an autograph? Bruh, I'm not asking. I don't need an autograph unless they give it to me. Cool. Shaking my head. Laugh my buddy, yeah, buddy on some BS talking about autograph from Floyd. You can't even get close to Floyd, dog. His bodyguards are like goddamn 12 feet tall. I don't even know where the hell they come from, bro. They look human, but them some big ass dudes, dog. I would definitely have to soften up the damn lower calf, land some lower level kicks. Something. I have to go for the joints. Period. When somebody that big, you have to go for the joints. Period. The first two joints you see, knees. Period. You got to get in, get out. Tap, tap, pop. You got to get in. Pop, pop. Leave the hands alone. No need to try to punch to the body. Go to the joints. The knees, man. Sir Ken in the building. What's good? Salute to the wrenches and salute to the chat. Smash the like button. I appreciate it, bro. Jay, it doesn't matter what Tank do. Somebody will be a hater. Real talk, man. Why you say the black fighters don't have the support of the fans? I said black fighters don't have support of their own people as much as other neighboring countries do. And that's fact. I'm not relenting. I'm not digressing from that. It's fact. You see it on social media, first and foremost. Okay? Let's be honest. You see it here on social media. So it's not, I'm making this shit up. Black fighters just, look, you can be a black fighter all day long. That don't mean you're going to have a huge and abundance of black fans supporting you. That's fact. Fact. That's fact, man. That ain't no created narrative. That's goddamn fact. People don't want to hear that shit because, oh, man, we support. No, you don't. If they have to choose for two black fighters, we've seen it. Deontay Wilder, Bermain Severn, who they go for? Oh, let me go for the champ. Deontay Wilder, Dominique Brazil. Who you gonna go for? Oh, let me go for the champ. Deontay Wilder, freaking Luis Ortiz. Oh, let me go for the champ. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Oh shit, I'm going for Tyson Fury. And knowing that whole time with what he was winning, guess what? He ain't fought nobody. He ain't this. He don't have skill. Anyway, moving on. Make up your mind, man. Lewis say, buddy, are you serious? Listen, man, I'm 50 years old. Why the hell I'm going there for an autograph? I'm going there for media. And it was the first live gate during the freaking pandemic. So you're not going to get as close as these fighters. I'm going to tell you right now. You're not getting close to Floyd Mayweather for an autograph. Unless he knows you, unless he has familiarization. He ain't giving you no motherfucking autograph. Look, I don't sit up here and tell people, first and foremost, I'm a veteran. Nah, that don't matter. He said, are you white? Nah, I'm serious. I don't know why you asked that question. No, he got shit to do. For real. Floyd got shit to do, man. And plus, he has those perimeter, that security perimeter around him. You ain't getting nowhere close to him, dog. It ain't happening, bro. It's just not happening. Yeah, I'm serious, Michael. Lewis, don't people support black fighters by their fan base? What fan base are you talking about? What fan base are you talking about, man? What are we talking about? Black fighters and fan bases. Fighters have fan bases. It's the quantity of people that's supporting them internal to that fan base that matters. Are those fans really truly supporting them? That's all I'm saying. Just like here on social media. Wouldn't everybody be rich if you got, just say, 50,000 followers and everybody freaking donated every day and you was on here every day? Wouldn't you be pretty wealthy? So you don't have a true 50,000 subscribers and followers. You have 50,000 people who actually, sub to the channel, but those 50,000 people are not donating to your channel every freaking day. So I would consider that a fan base. If you had some loyal people, and once again, if you have 50,000 subs on here, and when you go live, you have 45,000 people tuned in, that, in my opinion, is a loyal fan base. But when you have 50,000 and then you only have like 400 to 500 people tuned in, come on, it's a difference. This is a major part of the Jack Johnson effect as experienced by black athletes, public figures. Never mind, if you know, you know. Hey, I agree, man. I agree. There's more racists that talk about boxing than in boxing. That's just what it is, man. More people that talk about boxing make it about race than the actual fighters who actually compete and train the sport. That's what it is. They always make it about the change. You know, you have people out here that support certain specific fighters, and they might be straight black fighters, and then they may every now and then they may talk about certain other fighters, but their collective audience is like to hear them speak on a specific race of fighters. You know, you have genres of fighters that are on specific media outlets, and they keep it pretty much orientated around that group of fighters, that particular race of fighters. And that's what they like to tune into. That's what it is, man. It's always going to be like that. That's how boxing is. Well, Michael Lewis, there's always fans of the opponents. But black fighters have a fan base. Is that true to say? I mean, this is not a black and white thing. I'm telling you, the black fighters does not have the entire group of blacks that's going to support them when they go to the ring. But you know, say the Filipino nation, if they have Filipino fighter, a lot of Filipinos they make it a special event to sit down, cook a spread, have people over to watch their fighter. Yes, that's what they do. I've seen it. I've been around in my own eyes. I've been to a fight party with some neighbors of mine. They shut it down for their Filipino fighter. And don't let the name be Manny Pacquiao. Don't let the name be Manny Pacquiao going against another black fighter like Adrian Broner. They shut this shit down because they had to be there for that. And then you get the black people say, Adrian Broner don't let his hands go. He ain't this, he ain't that. And Manny Pacquiao gonna knock him out. He gonna knock him out. He gonna knock him out. And Adrian Broner went through the firestorm with Marcus Madonna. He didn't get stopped. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he stepped in there with Manny Pacquiao last January, and people was like, "Oh, this is gonna be the fight. He gets stopped, man." I'm telling you, Adrian Broner, he ain't gonna be able to do it at this weight. He ain't gonna be able to do it without seeing him going there with a dog like Porter, him going there with a fighter like Garcia. Anyway, moving on, man. They always come in that chat crying about race. It's just facts. It is facts, man. The reason why I'm talking about my people is the fact that it's true. Y'all don't support your own freaking race all the time because y'all feel like, nah, I need to specifically, if I'm supporting this black fighter over here, I'm gonna stay and support this black fighter. The influence is real. The influence is real. If it's somebody like myself that keep that shit down the middle, I'm not gonna get as much as attention from the people who support black fighters because I'm not willing to just stick to the biased narrative and say, oh, so-and-so definitely he's one of the best in the game. You know, because he's black. Yeah, because he's black, period. Nobody's going to dictate my narrative. That's why but I agree it's absolutely about popularity. And popularity, black fighters' popularity amongst black people is very finicky. Remember that. It's very finicky. It's all about how they perceive you. You know, is it something that you do that they can relate to? You know, what stands out about that black fighter to his people? You know, is he part of the culture? Is he moving the culture? Is he influencing the culture? You know what I'm saying? I mean, who is he hanging around? Who is he or she hanging around that's at the higher 5%? Who can vouch and co-sign for that fighter? That's how black people look at it. How do I link up? How can I link up with this person? What are they wearing? What they fashion like? What kind of car they drive? You can take a black fighter that's two division champion, right? Clean as a whistle, but somebody catch him driving an Uber to make extra money. He said, "Oh shit, I can't fuck with him. He broke. He broke. God damn it, he broke. He a two division champion. He broke. He out here driving Uber. I can't fuck with him." You have black fans, in my opinion, not all of them. You know, I don't have the method for entire consensus, right? But you will have black fight fans sit up here and say some shit like they want to give they want to give the layout on why they support a fighter, and it's all about what they see on social media, right? And it's supposed to be about boxing. They'll say a little bit about his boxing talent, but it's all about how they connect. You have people that live vicariously through individuals who they support for that reason. They live vicariously through him or her. That's what they do. I'm living vicariously through them. So certain media outlets that talk about those particular boxers and fit the nomenclature that somebody's looking for, they will support the channel. They'll give you the super chats because you're talking about their favorite fighters. They'll support them. It's not that the media outlet is able to put forth that same freaking lifestyle. It's the fact that they're supporting the fighter that's living the lifestyle. So there it's just like a pastor. You have a congregation that's living vicariously through the pastor. So if the media outlet is the one that's presenting the message, some of these people, subscribers and everything that's there frequently on a daily basis, they're living vicariously through the messenger. And that messenger continue to talk about that favorite fighter of theirs, they're going to tune in and support. I really don't stick to one in particular fighter. You know, I support Deontay Wilder heavy, even though he ain't champion. You know, I was a Teofimo Lopez supporter, still is. You know, so my genre of fighters who I really fuck with, so to speak, isn't strictly black fighters. And, you know, like I say all the time, there's nobody going to tell me who I supposed to support and what my narrative should be. You know what I'm saying? That's just not going to never happen, whether it is how many people that tune into the channel or not. He say, J8, you always crying about race. Nah, buddy, man. I think you're the one that sit up here, you know, reiterating race a lot, dog. I'm not talking about race in a bad way. I can talk about my own people. I'm not talking about all of my own people. I'm just giving you from what I've experienced and what I know. I can see if I was a different ethnicity, but goddamn, I can speak on it. You don't have to believe it. It's just an opinion. He said, "You are crying right now, bro." I ain't going back and forth. I see both sides are saying, yeah, everyone has a fan base. What Scott is saying, and I was in the building on the hate and the natural impulse black people have to tear down and discredit them. This is what I'm saying again, Lewis, and for everyone who heard it before at one point in time, right? When it comes down to just talk about the recent situation with Deontay Wilder coming out and speaking finally. And people are always talking about Deontay Wilder, he ain't speak this, and this, right? So when he finally comes out and speaking, you do exactly what I said you was going to do. You tear it down and say he's making excuses. And black people are not just saying he's making excuses, but they're treating this man as if he don't have the right to a FOS. That's my problem. When you're sitting up here treating a person like they don't have the right to voice what they believe happened in their life, and you say making excuses, and they are classes, and they're less of an individual, they ain't a man, and that's making him seem like he's whining, and he's the one that was in there taking the punishment. But my people act like it's personal. Like you want to talk about the man ain't shit as a human being, though. That's my problem when it comes to this shit. You act like the man ain't a human being. These people ain't a human being when it comes to tearing them down. My people can goddamn throw the damn most poignant arrows, man, with the poison on the tip. They make sure they are there to disable. However they can put the narrative, how lethal it can be. That's what the result. As lethal as they can make it. When Deontay Wilder was fighting other black fighters, so to speak, I seen how much love that was in the arena, how loud it was, how deafening, the cheers, the chevaux. Everybody was there with their hand to my bomb squad, bomb squad, bomb squad. You couldn't stop it. Deontay Wilder was saying bomb squad, this, that, and the other. And then when he steps in there with Tyson Fury, boo, they act like the man ain't shit. Stepping at MGM Grand again, boo, the man ain't shit. Anyway, this is about the Tank Davis. I want to keep it on the Tank Davis, man. Buddy said, nah, you tripping. That's one thing about boxing, man. You always gonna have people with difference of opinions. And that's the cool part about it. Maybe y'all ain't want that Santa Cruz fight, but that's a good win for Tank. I agree. That's a solid win for Tank, man. That's a solid freaking win for my boy. Solid win. And he stopped Leo. Only one other fighter. And he stopped Leo. Only one other fighter did that. Devin has to do better than Tank against Gamboa. Devin has to go in there and, you know, he has to bring out every bit of star power. He has to let people know what level he's on. You know what I'm saying? He has to let them know what level he's on. And the only way he's going to be able to let anyone know, people, that he's on a different level is the fact that he has to go in there and shut down Gamboa in half of the time that Gervonta Davis did it. He has to do it. There's no option. Devin Haney has a mandatory script. He has to do it in half the fashion that Gervonta did it. Because they're on the same line, man. They're on the same direction. They're in the same division. I don't give a damn if it was a lighter division. They're on the same path. They want the big names. They want the big names. Their common opponent is Gervonta fought Gamboa at 35. So the common opponent in Gamboa and Devin Haney this week is the fact that he needs to go in there for the people. But look, I'm gonna tell you right now, he can go in there and stop Gamboa in 10 or 11 rounds, and people are gonna be jumping on here, all the collective groups. And they can say what they want to say, but they're going to be jumping on here saying, see, Devin Haney better than Gervonta because he stopped him in 11 rounds. It's so fucking petty. I'm telling you, it's going to be petty, y'all, because of the influence. And I appreciate what Bill Haney's been doing, visiting these groups. I appreciate that. That's hard work. I believe in goddamn hard work and freaking road work and that shit. That's hard work. But don't allow yourself to be media and act like you aren't influenced and being extremely biased because of the attention and the presence. You have to keep it 100. If someone tells you they all about the smoke and you keep it real, no, I've known this for quite some time, right? It's a difference between the real ones and the ones that are real. It's a difference. You say, man, keep it real. You're a real nigga, right? But I'm saying, I'm looking for the niggas that's real. Not the one up here, you're a real one. You're a real one. It's easy to say someone is real. I like for you to keep it real. I like for you to keep it real. But I'm looking for the ones that are real. Those are the ones I respect. The ones that are real are not gonna freaking falter and switch it up at the spare of the moment just because they're being influenced by some shit. They're influenced, so certain individuals feel that they're keeping it real because they are influenced to say certain things. That's keeping it all the way fake, in my opinion, because really, you didn't genuinely start supporting somebody until you was influenced without even doing your due diligence. So I'd rather check with the real one who's going to stand they square and make their own decisions without being influenced in a way that goes against what they actually believe in. That's all. That's all the fuck I'm saying. What you actually believe in and what you actually talk about. You can talk about something that you truly don't believe in. But the influence has controlled it, controlling the narrative right now. So people say keeping it real, but no, I'm looking for the ones that are real. Floyd said he put Tank in a position to be successful. I believe it. I still think it's some fractious type of communication behind the scenes. But really, I'm not even here to really, talk about the, that aspect. And I just like the fact that Tank went in there and got that shit done in dominating fashion. Dominating. It's just facts. Drop the link. Floyd would do all the talking for Tank. All Tank has to do is knock him down. Floyd would do all the talking for Tank. All Tank has to do is knock him down. I know a lot of people talk about Floyd talking for Tank, and not everybody is very articulate in front of the camera and feel comfortable, whatever the case may be. But what he is demonstrating his astute ability is the fact that he's a problem. He let his hands do the talking in the ring. And boy, do they get to the point. They get to the motherfucking point. Seriously. Floyd would do all the talking. That's fine with me, for real. Facts. Hey man, if Floyd want to do all the talking for his student, let him. Floyd has a presence in this game. Floyd has an influence, period. And even with Floyd fighting the way he was able to fight, amassing the reputation, coming from a fighting family, people still hated Floyd. They paid to see him lose, and it just didn't happen. But Floyd stacked the money, and stacked the money. They paid to see him lose. Floyd had dogged out. Floyd was criticizing Sugar Ray Robinson. Floyd was criticizing Muhammad Ali. From what I said, I remember saying this on the boxing channel. Floyd went over there and fought Leon Spinks, who had 7-0. And Floyd, who's on the highest level of boxing, said the same thing I said. He said Muhammad Ali, who lost to a Leon Spinks. But when you're talking to a casual and talking to them about history, they're not going to fully digest what you're trying to tell them. And it's in similarities. Floyd, and in my opinion, is a bit contradicting a bit with him pretty much denigrating Muhammad Ali with Leon Spinks, who was 7-0. And I try to, basically put it out there that fight was a little bit a premeditated fight. He's going to allow Leon Spinks to become champion, and then he's going to pick up the title the next time around. And that's exactly what happened. I heard that from the sources from people who's around that. Real talk. So when Floyd fights Conor McGregor 0-0, how is that different from Leon Spinks? Even though you didn't get beat, you still fought a fighter with zero boxing experience on a professional level, and you made a whole hell of a lot of money. But yet, how can you use that to say this supersedes Rocky Marciano's record? I mean, come on. It doesn't make any sense. I'm glad you didn't put that Tenshin Nashikawa freaking fight over there. That undersized Japanese fighter. That would have been atrocious. Floyd is who he is, though. He set the bar. He's changed the game of boxing. And you know, people will always criticize him for doing just that because they can't do it. Floyd, man, he totally fucked the game all up. He did, man. He did it in the best way to benefit himself. So when it comes to when I'm hearing people about, you know, so-and-so should fight this person, so-and-so should fight that person. What about the money, though? Because the lifestyle that person is living, they need to continue to expound upon that lifestyle and build and increase their monetary value in the sport of boxing while their body is still able to be competitive with the best in the sport. They have to be able to consistently go out here and compete with the best in the sport. Seriously, they have to continue to grow while they're still able to compete at the highest level. So you can go out here all day long and talk about who this person and who that person should support. I mean, who that fighter should fight. But yet you're not even thinking about, is the money right? Does it make sense? Is it going to build their legacy for future fights? It's a planning process like anything in life. But you can't just come up here and think they're going to just listen to the fans and say, oh, they should fight this person. Why? Because I want them to. That's not even logical. That's not smart. You're just being selfish with your own thought process because you just want something to happen and you think that person has a small percentage of losing. So that's what you want. You want to send them into a situation where you feel that they don't have total control of coming out as the victor in the fight. So you're looking for their downfall, but you praising it as if it's something that really is productive to the sport of boxing and that fighter, but it ain't. You just want to see them go in there and lose. If Shakur Stevenson was to all of a sudden step up and say he want to fight Gervonta Davis, now what? You got two black fighters and you're going to see people picking sides. Gervonta, he's with Floyd Mayweather. Well, both of them been in trouble. Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta been in trouble in the streets. They don't come from no easy, growing up, easy beginnings. They had struggles in life like anybody else. So they're going to pick and choose who they're connected with. Once again, we're talking about popularity. We're talking about the culture. So they're going to look at Gervonta with Floyd. I don't like Floyd, so I'm going to go with Chris Stevenson. He's a better, well, clean-cut guy. I like him. Even though Gervonta has accomplished more in his career. You know what I'm saying? That's just where I'm at right now, people. That's just where I'm at. I'm going to check something else. Let me check something else right quick. Y'all probably wondering why I'm not talking about Alexander Usyk. Nah, because I told, just like I said about Lomachenko, overrated. Usyk is overrated. I said it a long time ago. He's over freaking rated. Mayweather had mentioned that Tank is a top dog and he don't want to call out different names. You know what I'm saying? It's a Mayweather right now. He said in the article on Boxing Scene, he said, as of right now, we want to enjoy the victory, Mayweather said. Tank had a long training camp, and we really want to enjoy the victory. As soon as the fight is over, the first 10 rounds, we do, who do you want to fight? Who do you want to fight? Tank is a top dog. Tank is a PPV for is on pay-per-view for a reason. Tank is where he's at for a reason. So we don't want to come up here and call different names out. Oh, we want to fight him. We want to fight him. We want to fight him. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is let him go home and enjoy himself with his family, his daughter, his team, and then we'll talk about it. probably in what, 20 or 30 days from now? That makes sense, right? What Floyd said. He said also he should be able to enjoy his victory. Why every time a fighter fight, the first question is, who do you want to fight next? Who do you want to fight next? I put him in a position so he can do things that I did. Fight when you want to fight. Fight who we want to fight. He's the top dog, and he's going to keep on going out there, proving to the world that he is the best. And I'm proud of him. Like I said before, I'm so proud of him. No matter what you know, when things are said, when you hear certain things in the media about me and Tank, no matter what you hear, I'm going to always love him unconditionally. End quote from Floyd Mayweather. Same way I love my other two sons and my two daughters. I love them the same way. I only want the best for him. And I'm probably happier than he is. I'm proud of him, so proud of him. And I didn't come on to the other side as far as to become a promoter to not share what I had a part of, what I lived before. I'm glad that it's him now. He deserved it, like I said before, and I'm not going to stop saying it. I'm so happy for him. And that was Floyd Mayweather. Speaking about Gervonta Davis. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just look at that. I mean, it wasn't nothing bad about that. Real talk. I mean, that made sense to me, right? He just went in there. Gervonta went in there and knocked out a dude that had damn near more than half of the professional career that Gervonta Davis has been a part of to amass this far. Seriously. That's real talk. The man has 23 knockouts right now. I think the only time that Gervonta went the distance was like in his ninth or 10th fight against Gerard Maez, a unanimous decision. So give it up for him, man. He's doing big things. He's doing big things, man. But everybody's in the building, man. Hit that like button, man. Show some love. Hit that like button. I'm about to pull out. Just, get on with my day. I shall be back on here sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to talk about. The BJJ tournament coming up. Plus, check out the sparring that I put from Cincinnati. It's on my YouTube channel. Also, check out worldcombatsports.com. Yes, I do have a website for quite some time now. I know I don't promote it as much, but it's all about the sport of combat. You know what I'm saying? More so boxing and MMA on my channel. I have put some vids out there on the BJJ competition that I visit, periodically. But anyway, boxing and MMA primarily. Appreciate everybody for stopping through. It's been absolutely a pleasure. Turn up and